All right, we're live. Shalom, shalom, Israel. We are live in action. Good to see you all again. I know it's been a couple of months since our last class. I don't recall what the last class was. I'm not going to lie to you. But we got a new segment, got a new class, new parts. I'm sure whatever it was, I believe I completed. I think it was a basic class. I think I was trying to...
Gentiles.
Yes, it was Gentiles B. I was trying to go on, the basics, and we'll get back to those, later. But right now, I think this topic is very relevant. It's very prevalent as far as in our particular camp right now. And a lot of times the Spirit works where other camps might be going through different things or similar things, similar emotions, similar thought process. So I hope today there's edification. I hope that questions can be answered. There's clarity on certain things. And with that being said, let's get to the topic. The topic is called, If I'm Chosen, Why Am I Still Tested? And I'm going to say it in Spanish, primero que nada. Before we get into anything, shout out to the brothers and sisters out in the camps, SOW, Stream of Wisdom in Rochester, New York, Houston, and of course, Virginia. Shout out to you all. Hope you guys are doing well. If you guys are watching this or we'll catch the rerun later today, throughout again for your support. We hope you guys are doing great, and we miss you all. Also, shout out to Kyle Codman's congregation, and brothers in London, California, Atlanta. All you guys, appreciate you. Appreciate the comments. If you have questions or concerns, please leave the comments in the commentary or send us an email at isbhpk@yahoo.com. With that being the case, let's get into the topic. So, if we're chosen, why are we tested? Now, if you've been around the program a lot or a while, if you've been around a body at all, and you've started your walk, and you're noticing that it didn't get easier when you started serving the Most High. There might have been spurts and periods. Maybe when you first got in, there was a feeling of liberty, a feeling of relief. You're chosen, and the Most High loves you, and he wants the best for you, and he wants you to learn more about him so that he can bless you in your life more and help you in your day-to-day walk, give you clarity of mind, clarity of spirit, clarity of path. All that is great, and that's how it starts off for most of us, if not all of us. However, after a while, when you start really reading and studying, going to class, and you going through your day-to-day experiences, now you can recognize certain experiences as a spiritual battle. Now, instead of saying it's just a common occurrence, or it's just life, or it's just how things are, you can equivalent it to, I did X, Y, and Z, this is why X, Y, and Z is happening. Or the Most High is trying to show me something in my spirit. And that's the mindset we all should be taking. But what we have to also understand is a lot of the experiences, or rather the virtues and the ability to overcome some of these experiences, we don't have the time on earth to go through all of them, to be masters of all of them. So this is why he left us with testimonies. He left us with people in the scriptures to give us the understanding of how to go through X, Y, Z circumstance and come out spiritually on top. So that's what we're going to go with first. Let's go Job 8 and verse 8 through 10. Job 8, verse 8 through 10.
Job chapter 8, verse 8.
Hold on now. Slow down now. And I'm not going to go fast. This topic is a multi-part topic, so we're not going to get through it all today, and that's perfectly okay. If you have any questions, please leave them to me. But to rephrase the question, if we're chosen, why am I still tested? The test that I'm going through, how did the Most High, or what did the Most High do for us to allow us to overcome said test, or to allow us to overcome these walks of life that were, or these uncharted territories, so to speak. All right? So, Job 8 and verse 8 through 13.
Job chapter 8, verse 8.
Uh-huh.
For I inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to search of their fathers.
It says, I inquire and I pray for you. This is Job speaking. I hope that you are searching the former age, searching the walks and the steps and the experiences in which the elders and which the great men and women in the Bible all took when navigating their particular battles, their particular walks in life. And how do they think? How do they operate through it? How do they get through it? Did they fail or did they pass said test? Read on.
Verse 9, it says, "For we are but of yesterday, and know nothing, because our days upon the earth are a shadow."
What does that mean?
Yeah. I'm not gonna go.
Whatever you got, man. What does it mean? I'm trying to get some understanding. Come on, man.
So, wrapping up the first verse. So, yesterday, basically he's saying life is going on.
Okay.
And it's going to go by quick. But he's actually seems kind of sad right here, actually.
Oh, I mean, sad in the sense that you're not going to be able to accomplish everything in the spirit that you might want to accomplish.
Right.
That's the sad part. That doesn't necessarily mean he's sad because of that. It's just for someone who desires and loves to acquire wisdom and loves to acquire spiritual gifts, that is something that can be disheartening. Knowing you have a mountain of, issues or a mountain of things you could achieve in life, but you have a short period of time to achieve it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's saying we know nothing because time is fleeting.
Yes. Meaning, our lives are too short to comprehend everything in the spirit that we might need to comprehend. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we don't have the accessibility or the resources to get said experience in our life. He's just saying, with our life alone, it's not enough. So there's going to be things, there's going to be circumstances, there's going to be challenges in life that we're going to go through. And if we don't have another source of reference to compare and contrast to, we're not going to be able to get the lesson out of it in the way the Most High wants us to. So let's keep reading.
Verse 10, it says, "Shall not they teach thee, and tell thee, and utter words out of their heart?"
This is why he said, I pray that you inquire of the forefathers, of the men and women of the former age. He's saying because they're the ones that are going to teach you and tell you with sincerity how to operate, how to walk in this life. They won't fail you because you see the totality of their life. You'll see, we're going to go to David. We know the totality, and we're going to read the totality of David's walk and David's life. We're going to read the totality of Saul and how Saul ended. We understand the story of Job and how Job's life ended. We understand the Most High gave us all these different individuals to find out what they did and what was the result of their actions. This is the teaching that he's talking about. This is what he means. They'll tell you out of sincerity of their own heart. They'll tell you when they say, I don't want to serve the Most High anymore. They'll tell you, but the scripture will show you when that switch in the mind happened. Or when, or what actions they took to show the Most High, you're not sincere no more. Or vice versa. The scripture will show you when the men were at their crosswalks in the spirit. And the opportunity to sin and the opportunity to keep striving for righteousness was in their face. And what decisions did they take? What was their thought process? What did they say? This is all in the scriptures. This is all what we need to fill in the blanks in our own lives. All right? Keep reading.
Verse 11, "Can the rush grow up without mire?"
Now he's comparing and contrasting. The rush is a particular plant. All right? It's a particular plant that is near the water. But that rush can't just grow from water. It needs mire, needs a soft mud, soft earth that is rich in nutrients for it to grow. Meaning it needs a foundation. It needs a starting point. All right? So this particular rush, this particular plant, cannot grow without the mire. Read on.
It says, "Can the flag grow without water?"
And the flag, another plant, it can't grow without its necessary nutrients that it gets from the water. Why is he using plants right now?
Because men are trees.
No.
And well, if I may.
Okay.
Yes, there's that. Sorry. I'm so sorry. But also, the process of growth in the truth or in the knowledge of Christ, it's like a plant. It comes in phases.
Okay.
You get the water. You
Okay.
need certain things, like the mire, for instance, is saying here. You need that special foundation, or what's the thing that the stuff you put
Fertilizer?
fertilizer. You need special as a plant to grow. It has a purpose. in order to reach that purpose or that goal, so to speak, I need a special type of fertilizer, not just the water.
Yeah.
And in that, you see what I'm
Well, and it's, I don't want to get, it's not necessarily about the special fertilizer, because Myers is mine, right? What I'm referring to is
necessary things for growth.
we're the plant,
Okay.
and the mire is the testimonies in the scriptures. If we want spiritual growth, we need the mire as the foundation to grow in the spirit. Because like we just read, without that, our days are too short to get all the lessons that we need to accomplish to be better in the spirit. So without the teachers, without the former age, without the examples of the right and the wrong in the scriptures, you can only go so far in the spirit. This is the problem that we kept having even back in the Old Testament. When you would have the scriptures, but you wouldn't read this. We wouldn't read the scriptures. I don't know. We had the Bible, but the Israelites did not read. They didn't read the Bible. So you're just going through life aimlessly, making mistakes, getting stung, put in captivity over and over and over again. Then you come to find out 500 to 700 years later that they never read the Bible in the first place. And this is why the Most High kept pushing them. Go to the church. Go to the synagogue. Go to the sanctuary. Go seek out after me. Because we weren't reading on our own. Whether it been because we didn't have the access to, or we just didn't want to. We wanted to do what we wanted to do.
Yep.
And that goes into part two. But the point we're bringing out right now is we need substance. We need the foundation. Like Christ talks about. If you don't have a firm foundation, when the temptation comes, your whole thing is rocked. Yes, sir.
Is that also that mire? Doesn't that also help that vegetation or tree or shrub grow roots?
Yes.
And dig
Yes.
in?
It settles the plant. Like I said, that this first plant, the rush, can't grow without the mire. It can't just grow aimlessly in water. All right. It needs somewhere to be planted, settled in, and established that it can pull nutrients from. That when rain and wind comes, and it won't just fly out everywhere, end up in the middle of the water. So like Sister was saying, it's a stability. It's something you can always refer to. Something that's going to keep you planted.
Grounded.
It's grounded, exactly. So now, read 11 again.
Job chapter 8, verse 11. Can the rush grow up without mire? Can the flag grow without water?
And the answer is no. Just like these plants can't grow without their necessary nutrients from the whether it be the water or the mire, we can't grow without the nutrients from the scriptures, from the testimonies. And the grace understood this. Keep reading.
Verse 12. It says, whilst it is yet in his greenness.
Now it's shifting its tone. He's referring to plants, but he's talking about mankind. All right? While it's yet in its greenness, meaning it's prime. All right, read on.
And not cut down.
Meaning there's no damage to it. It's not a previously wounded plant. It wasn't previously pricked. It wasn't previously eaten by a stray animal. It was in its strength. There was nothing wrong with it. Okay? It was growing fine. Read on.
It withereth before any other herb.
But something made this herb or this plant different than the rest. What is he comparing to now? Read on.
So are the paths of all that forget the Most High.
The difference is this plant wasn't rooted by the mire. This plant wasn't rooted by whatever nutrients, whether it be the water, the mire, the fertilizer, it wasn't rooted. Same thing with mankind. If we're not rooted by the path or the testimonies the Most High laid out for us, it's equivalent to straight forgetting the Most High. Because how can you learn the Most High unless you study how the great men and the great women of the Bible served him previously? Because obviously he was pleased with David when he says he was a man after my own heart.
Right.
Obviously he was pleased with the Pauls of the world, pleased with Peter, pleased with the disciples, pleased with Christ, pleased with the Jeremiahs, the Isaiahs, the Zechariahs. He was pleased with all these people. The Sarahs in the scripture, I'm forgetting his name. Abigail. Abigail too, Ruth. The great sisters, the great brothers in the scriptures, he was pleased with them. So why not refer to them as a reference point? We refer to our parents as reference points in our life. When times get tough and we don't have answers, The thoughts of our parents come in our head.
Is he kind of like a role model or somebody to look up to?
Exactly. He's given us the role models that we should have because we have worldly role models. We have people that raised us, helped develop us, gave us life advice. You know, whether it worked for them or not, didn't matter. That's all you knew. That's all that was in your face. So you took it and ran with it. Yes, sir.
I hate to say.
Well, I was just saying, those are those fathers,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Those fathers that are in our path. What are those? Those fathers, those are the ancient landmarks.
Yep.
Those are the things of the former age
God.
to help you guide you through the path.
God. You got that verse on there, or you gonna pull it? Or no?
Yeah, I got it. It's Proverbs 22 and 28.
Read that real quick. Proverbs 22 and verse 28. Just to add on to that. Where's that? Proverbs 22 and verse 28. Where's the phone?
Proverbs chapter 22, verse 28.
Yeah.
Oh, that's mine. You're the yours.
Yeah. Swap and
Go ahead.
Switch rule.
It reads, remove not the ancient
It
landmarks.
says, remove not the ancient landmark.
Yep.
Don't bypass the ancient landmark. Don't
Ignore it.
don't ignore it.
Yeah.
Don't circumvent.
Yeah.
You can't climb up another way.
So you're saying, what if the ancient landmark doesn't make sense to me?
If it doesn't make sense to you, because like you were saying, we don't read the scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
We're not familiarizing ourselves with those paths, with those what did it say? With the former
age.
the former age.
Well, this is why I asked that, because, and it goes into the dynamic of the class, where it's, I'm chosen. What does anybody want to say I'm chosen? Chosen just means you were given the inspiration to serve the Most High. For those that know, the fact that you're in these doors and you're reading the scriptures and you have some desire to know the Most High's mind, to please Him. Christ said, you can't come to me unless the Most High drew you in. So unless the Most High authorized the Spirit to sit here and give you some inspiration, or i.e. chose you to serve Him, you wouldn't even be wanting to serve the Most High. That's just fact. So when I say, why are we chosen, or if we're chosen, I'm just saying you're given inspiration to at least want to know about the Most High. That doesn't mean you've made it yet.
The desire.
You've given a desire. But that doesn't mean the battle's over. That just means you were given an opportunity to now want to learn more about it, to grow more. So now I'm learning more, and I'm seeing the ancient landmark. I'm seeing the examples that the Most High left me. And I don't agree with everything. I'm not entirely bought into everything I'm saying. This is what this particular verse in Job 8 is about. If you're not entirely bought into everything that you're reading, seeing, and hearing, and counseled on, what it's saying is, now you're part of that other herb that in its strength withered before everybody else. Because you forgot the Most High. It didn't mean I don't know Yahweh Shai anymore. I don't know the name of God anymore. It means I forgot what He set in front of me to follow. I've ignored it. I've removed it. I've told myself I don't need to follow everything in it. I can pick and choose what I want to do.
Right.
I can kind of walk around it a little bit. This thought process we've been battling as a nation since the very beginning.
And that part is the lack of preparation. It says, and prepare themselves to the search of their fathers.
Okay.
All that aimless wandering is a lack of preparation.
The preparation to commit.
And that's another part of that. It's a commitment. Preparation
Yep.
takes commitment.
The preparation to commit, however which way this goes. I'm riding. Whatever direction the Most High is taking me. I mean, whatever direction the Most High is taking me. If the Most High says today, get up and go to Peru. I'm being facetious. But look at Paul's life.
Right.
Paul didn't get to stay in Cyprus and just sit here and teach the Bible in Cyprus and just deal with my Cyprus folks. Go to Greece. Go to Rome. Go to Jerusalem. Get beat in Jerusalem. Go back to Cyprus. Go back to Jerusalem. You don't get beat again, but go back there anyway, because I said so.
Yep.
And he didn't have the authority or he didn't have the ability to say, I'm not going to do that. That's not wisdom. I've already had 2 shipwrecks. Why would I go back to that again?
And it costs to go on these ships. Like, it ain't.
Yeah.
It ain't like.
It's not cheap. First off, the Lord's not footing the bill.
Yep.
The Lord is not footing the bill to go take these ships, get the guys, get the tours, and bring them around town. not paying for the food.
Yeah.
Where are you working at, Paul?
He's making them tents.
You better make them tents, dude.
Yeah.
That means you got side gigs going on while you're serving the Most High. Your main job is to serve God, but you got side gigs just so you can eat food and have some type of house to live. This is the challenge that Paul was having to go through, but he was chosen. He was told, "You're the next guy. You're gonna teach the Gentiles." That's a great title. That sounds amazing. I'm gonna teach a nation of people that have not heard the word of God for 600 years. Yes, I'm gonna be the pioneer for that.
It sounds good.
It sounds great
It sounds good until you
until you're doing it.
Until you deal with them.
Until you're trying to teach them,
Yeah.
and you're getting pushed back from them themselves. You're getting pushed back from the other Israelites. You're getting pushed back from haters.
Yeah.
You're getting pushed back from other priests that feeling like you're taking a spotlight from them.
Yeah.
All this is happening. I'm not gonna try to go too deep into Paul's particular stories. I want to focus on David today, but this is everything that was going on. But he was chosen. What did we have to go through after we've been chosen? After we were inspired, drawn in, convinced this is the way to think, this is the way to live, this is the way to eat, this is the way to function amongst one another. This is what we're bringing out. And trying to bring out that it's important while we're making this conversion and we're establishing ourselves in this lifestyle, in this mind frame, we have to keep referring back to how the others in the Bible were operating in that view. Now, give me back in Job 8 and verse 12 through 13. Let's get out of there real quick.
Job chapter 8, verse 12.
Somebody had a question?
I did.
Yeah, what's up?
Ecclesiasticus chapter 2.
11? Okay, 10.
I don't know what that's in here.
That is exactly on the same point. We can read that. Give me Ecclesiastes 2 and verse 10 real quick. Yes, that is definitely in
Still
there.
holding Job? Proverbs.
You had the ancient landmark, right?
Proverbs, yes.
Yeah, let that go. You're good. Yeah, let it go.
Okay.
You're good. Yeah, give me Ecclesiastes 2 and verse 10.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 10. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded?
Now hold on, before we get into that, because that is important. Give me verse 8. Yeah.
Verse 8. Ye that fear the Lord, believe him.
Now, this entire chapter is a foundational scripture chapter. It is something that you should know on the top of your head. When you're at your lowest point, if you don't got anything, you got to have at least this. Because it goes into everything we're about to talk about today. The understanding of temptation is going to come, how to operate when you got temptation, and who to refer to in your lowest points in life. All right? Those are very important, and you're never not going to need that idea and that concept in your head. But focusing on verse 8, give me that one more time.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 8. Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail.
Now, I'm not going to go into a whole spill on what believing means, because there's a whole class on the difference between believing the Most High and trusting the Most High. And that was a great class. I recommend you guys looking at that if you haven't seen it already. But essentially, belief is, I would say, the understanding that however this plays out, it's going to work out in my favor. Even if it doesn't make any rational sense. Because a lot of us, we try to think that way, and I think we do. I think we try to look at the best thing in life. But the rational side of us, for those that are analytical, I'm very analytical myself. And I try to overanalyze everything, every experience, interaction, that I might have with the people around me or might have in the job, especially on our job. We're in a high stress environment around people that might not be in the best mood, spirits, and those spirits start bouncing off. They might say something offensive to you, and you got to sit here and internalize that and not take it personal and not think they're thinking about me or they hate me as a person or they despise me who I am. Like, these are thoughts someone who's analytical like myself would have on the smallest occasions. Or, I about to story one time when we were doing delivery with the dog do and you remember that one? They took them twice. right. The point is, the brother was stepped in and dogged you twice. The first time, I said, "Hey, bro, I don't know what you're thinking about,
Yeah.
but I think the Most High is tagging you right now." Nah, it's cool. There's nothing going on. You know, I'm having a good day. I said, "Cool." The very next stop, like,
Again.
he stepped in it again. I said, "Bro, hey, Most High warned you once, you twice, but man perceiveth not." The point is, I don't know what you think about that day. I don't think you was being wicked. But I know for me personally, when I'm getting stung and I'm getting tagged and I'm with a customer and they'll walk by a wasp nest and nothing happens to them, but then I walk by the same nest, I'm getting tagged 4 to 5 times. Like, man, what was I thinking about that got me in the situation? And what this verse is saying is, regardless of what failure, wherever you're losing, whatever affliction you got you, I still got to believe that this is for my benefit. I got to believe when I'm getting tagged by 5 wasps, that it was because it was a correcting scenario.
Right.
Maybe I wasn't in the most positive mindset. Or how about the stop before I was negative, or the day before I was negative? I got to find the best way of looking at this in favor of Christ, because a lot of us, we get afflicted, we lose, we're stressed, we're not getting what we think we deserve or want, and it's hard for us to see how Christ could want this for our life. How he could want this circumstance to be playing out for our life. Yes, sir. What you got?
I love what you're saying because we come in the truth and we get the knowledge of the Most High, and we still have like this church aspect to us.
Yeah.
And this is when the Most High tags us or tests us. This is him stripping away that church mentality
Yeah.
from us. But I realize that we have an issue when the Most High is taking the church away because we want to have it.
Exactly.
This is the, I want to have my cake and eat it too type of scenario.
Exactly.
You know.
And we, like you said, we think about it, we meditate on it, and it's hard for us to rationalize why we're not getting what we want, or why we're losing, and we're serving. We're serving. Some of us moved states. Some of us left family members. Some of us left whole households, left houses, cars behind. Whatever they had that might be noteworthy in the world. Jobs, careers that are established, and you'll be set for life for serving the Most High. And the rational side tends to creep up when you're not in the circumstance you think you should be in. So I don't want to go too much further in this. I think we get the point. Read that in verse 8 again. Verse 10, just so y'all know, it's saying the same point. Look to the generations of old. Refer back to the greats in the Scripture. Refer back to not just the greats in the Scripture, but the people that have been doing this successfully in the work for longer than you have. That have gone through the ups and downs, that have seen what you might not see yet.
Regardless of your age.
Regardless of age, experience, what you think you know, what you might know, doesn't matter. Can I sit here and refer to those that were in this work, operating in this realm successfully, and disregard what I might think I deserve or what I might believe in previously? This is what the whole Meyer thing is about. What foundation are you growing in? In the world, we had foundations like this green herb. It was grown in something. We got these sweet potatoes in here. I've been sitting here for like 2 weeks. Them sweet potatoes ain't got no water, ain't got no sunlight in here. There's no mire, and they're sprouting right now.
Not even miracle.
But you know what? You're supposed to put that in some mire and some nutrients after it starts sprouting so it can actually grow into something. Right. But if you leave it sprouting like that, it's going to die. Right?
Yeah.
It's not going to go nowhere. It's the same thing with us.
Nurturing.
You might sprout. You might have some success in your life. You might win a little bit. That don't mean you're going to last. That don't mean you're going to be strong forever. Because you don't have anything tethering you when things do get tough. Because it's going to get tough. Because life happens to everybody.
Right.
Ups and downs happen to everybody. But how are you operating when you're not getting what you want out of life? Or what you expect? So let that go. Give me back in verse 13.
Job
Chapter
chapter 8.
13.
Job chapter 8, verse 13.
We're not getting nowhere in this class. Yeah.
Job chapter 8, verse 13. It says, "So are the paths of all that forget the Most High."
He says the herb that was green and was not damaged and was not cut down and withered faster than all the other herbs is similar to the person that forgot the Most High and didn't believe in him. Meaning what? You don't refer to the Most High as generations of old. You're not seeking the scriptures for understanding and clarity on your situation, on your losses, and what you're not getting. You're going to wither before everybody else. regardless of age, time, or experience. Doesn't matter. When you come in this truth, you're on a new time clock. Same thing. I don't know if y'all read the story. Most of us have. The story about those that get the penny. There's those that asked the Lord for a penny hour 1 and worked all the way to hour 12. And there's those that came hour 11 and said, I want a penny too. And they still got a penny. What that means is, it don't matter what age you are. It don't matter what experience you got. When you come in, that's when your time starts. For those that came in and they're in their 18s, 19s, 20s, bravo, you got a long time. Or however long Christ says you're gonna be here. You come in, you're 50, 60, 7 years old, and that's when you start. That's when the Most High decided to wake you up and draw you in. You know what? Hey, that's when you start. You're in hour 11. Whatever it may be, wherever you start at, you still have to refer to the generations of old. You might have to be a 67-year-old man referring to a 20-year-old that been doing it for 10 years. I knew kids back in my age, kids, that were 12 years old as soldiers. Soldiers in our camp means someone who's locked into the program, dedicated every day, reading in class, even maybe on the podium teaching. 12-year-old, 13, 14-year-old, 15-year-olds. This is years ago. Serving the Most High at a very high propensity, knowing the Bible at the back of their mind. As a 15, 16, 17-year-old, dropping the knowledge. You might feel a little insecure as a 56-year-old man, and he's dropping things you ain't never heard before. But what is that showing you? Age has nothing to do with this. Time and experience and execution. What are they doing with the information?
And desire.
How well are they executing it? How much do they love it? What do they want to lose for? Those are the men that he's dealing with. Those are the women that he's dealing with. And those are the experience you need to pull from. And you need to establish your roots in. If not, the Most High says you're a hypocrite. Keep reading.
I got you. Latter half, Job 8:13. It says, and the hypocrite's hope shall perish.
Because if you don't have a strong foundation, that belief that we read in Ecclesiastes 2 and 8 won't last. When you're not getting what you want. And you're not living the reality that you thought you should be living. You'll have a very weak base. So now that we've started that was just the intro. Let's get into David. And the mindset of a man who was chosen. The mindset of a person who was told and given the Spirit of the Most High and said, you're going to be the king. You're going to be the next king. What was one of the things he was praying for? Give me Psalms 119 and verse 36 through 38. Psalms 119 and verse 36 through 38.
That's not my.
No, that's Yeshaya. Yeah, Yeshaya.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
He said,
Psalms 119
no.
and 36.
Psalm chapter 119, verse 36.
Okay. Give me a and then Yahshua. I want you to read next until Karai gets here, alright? And then if someone leaves in this lineup, then you'll be the next reader, alright? Just so you know. Just so you them know. Alright, give me that. Give me that, sir.
Incline my ear unto thy testimonies, and not to covetous.
So what was David praying for? He said, Lord, please incline my ear to your testimonies, like we've been reading this whole time. Those landmarks. Who was David's testimonies at this time? Who could David pull from? Think of David's circumstance. He told to be the king. I won't go too deep into it. Told to be the king, and you gotta wait. Who could he pull from? What strength could he pull from? What example did he have to refer to? What testimonies? That's one. Moses and Joshua. Look, that's the one I'll pull from. Moses and Joshua, huh? Joseph too. It's a great one. Joseph, Moses, and Joshua. I'm the king. I gotta wait. Joshua was the next in line. Joshua probably knew he was going to be the next dog way earlier than when he actually was the next guy. He was serving under Moses for how many years? You remember? 40. And he had to wait. Now, fortunately for Joshua, he had a good king over him.
Yeah.
He had a great leader over him. It's a little easier to serve God and be humble and not see him get envious and get covetous when you got a guy that's the Don, i.e. Moses over you. It's a little easier. But if I'm in his shoes and I'm seeing what's in front of me as a future leader, as a future king, or I'm reflecting back on my life, what can I refer to? Now we have plethora of stories. We have David's story, we have Joshua, we have Moses, we have Joseph, we have Jacob and Esau. We have all these great stories, all these great men. We have more resources to pull from. But if you got limited resources, you better hold on to whatever you got. And this is what he was asking for. Lord, incline my heart, my motivation, and my thought process to your testimony that you've left behind for me. And not to covetousness. Because what is an easy spirit he could have had on him? That kingdom is mine.
Yeah.
I'm 15, 16, 17. Also, I'll be the next guy. That's mine. Those wives are mine. That money is mine. This power is mine.
What was it?
This army is mine.
Wasn't he promised a rib before he?
Hold on, man. Look, he was chosen. He lost being chosen. We don't find out how much he lost before he got to what he wanted. But you're right.
Okay.
He was chosen. When he was told he was going to be the king, I'm not going to spoil it. We're going to read it. What is he praying for? Don't let me be covetous and allow me to have my heart inclined to your testimonies. That's what all of us need to have. Don't let me envy what I see around me. Don't let me start comparing my life to the people I see around me. It's a dangerous and slippery slope. And on top of that, let me refer to the generations of old. Keep reading.
Verse 37. Turn away mine eyes from beholding vanity.
There's another thing he asked for. Remove my eyes from distractions. That's what vanity is. There's a lot more time in a day when you realize most of the time you occupy is vain. Most of the time you give your mind to is vanity. When you sit here and start a project, start a spiritual goal, you realize how much time you can actually make for that spiritual goal if that's the only thing you want to do. That's the only thing you got in your mind, the only thing that's occupying your headspace. That's the only thing you're going to dream about. That's the only thing you're going to be doing while you're eating food. That's the only thing you're going to be doing while you're using the restroom. That's the only thing you're going to be doing while you're in the car. That's the only thing you're going to be doing while you're, around social groups. Literally. I've seen people read books in parties. They'll go off in the corner and just read their books. It's a great novel. It's a great novel. They're in the bathroom reading a novel. It's a great novel. I can't stop. I'm one of those guys. If it's a really good book, I'm not. I gotta keep the story going. I like to see the end. I don't like to wait for the cliffhangers. I want to see book 1, 2, and 3. I was that guy. So if you know that, or if you have a goal or something you want to acquire, you have more time in your day to see and occupy that mind space. What you got?
It's hitting in my mind. What makes it more clear now is the Gospel of Matthew. If I be single, the body's full of life. That makes way more sense.
That's the point, because there was something that Dawiyad always said. Dawiyad, our General Dawiyad. And he said, men, when they come in, they have everyone has had a spurt of like fire that they get, where it's like, it's Bible, everything. That's all they want to do.
That fire, that zeal.
Yeah, that zeal to sit here and just conquer the world in the scriptures.
Red eye, bushy tail.
Yeah, bro. Like they're reading every day, and they got all these definitions. And well, the reading is powerful. Yeah, definitely. But it's the inspiration to want to learn and grow and sit here and acquire as much as possible. And everyone's time period varies. Sometimes it's a week or two. Sometimes it's a month. Maybe 3-4 months. But that period of time when that's the only thing they care about is at least an eye-opener for us, right? For leaders, because we know what you're capable of now. And not only do we know what you're capable of as men, but the Most High knows what you're capable of, which is why he gets so frustrated when we lose our first love, our first desire. That first desire is what spirit you had on you, motivation you had on you when you first got the word, or when you first had your motivation, your first zeal. So it's not about that, but the point is, David was praying to let his eye always be single. Let his motivation always be determined on what was in front of him, not the vanity and the folly around him, which was a lot of vanity and folly. Read on.
And quicken me in thy way.
And bring me to life and bring me up in your way, not my thought process, not what I think is correct and incorrect, what you think is correct for me. Read on.
Establish thy word unto thy servant, who is devoted to thy fear.
Because what he's acknowledging is, I do fear you, and I'm going to prove it to you in the actions and the mindset I'm taking every single day. So, let's get into the story. Give me 1 Samuel 16 and verse 10 through 13. So now we got David's prayer. We know what mindset he's now operating in while he's going to be going through the specific challenges that he has to go through before he gets what he might have been promised or whatever reward he might have expected out of this servitude, right? 1 Samuel 16 and verse 10.
1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 10. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, read that.
1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 10. Again, Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel. And Samuel said unto Jesse, the Most High hath not chosen these.
Okay, so give a little backdrop. Samuel, a messenger from the Most High, a seer, was sent to go unto Jesse, who was the father of 7 sons, and find one of those sons, actually 8 sons, because 7 weren't chosen, and find one of those sons and anoint him as king of Israel. For those that know the story. So before this, Samuel saw some handsome, strong, tall-looking men and said, "This must be the guy." Same mistake he made with Saul. Saul was the biggest, baddest, yoked dude in the whole village. And he's like, "This guy be the guy." And that was the one who the entire Israelites looked at as this is the next guy, next king. So he was explaining to Samuel how your thought process has to go deeper than just the physical appearance. What you're going to find out is the man he chose, i.e. being David, was not the biggest, not the baddest, not the strongest guy in the flock. So, read on.
1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 11. It says, And Samuel said unto Jesse, Are here all thy children? And he said, There remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep.
Now, another bit of information to have. Back in the day, there wasn't career days. All right? Meaning, if your daddy was doing sheep, you was going to be doing sheep.
Right.
If your daddy was a carpenter, you going to be a carpenter. If your mother was a sower and she planted, you was going to be a sower and you going to be planting. That was going to be your life. And that's just how it was.
Whatever your father traits were,
Yeah.
or whatever your
parents did.
the
family
that's
business.
That's what you took on.
Exactly. So meaning, and that's important to understand because you grow up, and especially being the youngest, you see your older brother go through it, the training of being the next sheep herder, and the second brother go through it, he's a sheep herder, the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, they're all sheep herders. They're all doing the same thing. What do you know as the youngest? I'm gonna be a sheep herder.
You next.
That's my life. That's my occupation. That's my career. Meaning, that's the only thing I'm gonna give my mind to. That's my whole life.
And being the youngest, you have older brothers, 7 older brothers. They have more life experience than you do.
Yeah.
They have more common sense, or they have more know-how
Well,
or wherewithal.
That's
about them
that's
being
that's
on.
that's important for the next part, because there's going to be a part in the story where you, being the youngest, the least experienced, and maybe not the most physically fit person in the family, get chosen to be the king. And what is probably going to happen with your siblings? How are they going to look at you? Probably going to be some envy, and now you got to deal with the hate of the family that you grew up with, you loved, and you trained and developed with, and now they're looking at you sideways. And can you handle it? That was one of the tests that David was given as well. And we'll read into that a little more as well. But the main focus is David already had a career. He already had a life circumstance. He already had his life planned out for him. A lot of people get shaken up when the life they've already had planned out for them gets changed because of the Most High. A lot of people think life should be one way because that's how it was always, or that's what they always saw. And now that it's different, it causes confusion. It causes an identity crisis. It causes a sudden fear. What is my next step? What is my next pathway? How can I operate now that I don't have a crystal clear path anymore, or a crystal clear direction? So let's keep reading on.
Right here. It says, I'll read it from 12 again. It says, And Samuel said unto Jesse.
That was verse 11.
11, yes, sir. 11.
Yes, I'm here. 11. It says, And Samuel said unto Jesse, Are here all thy children? And he said, There remaineth yet the youngest. And behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither.
Okay. Keep reading.
Hither. Verse 12. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ready.
Yep. Now, ready, for those that, the internet guys, if there are there, ready does not mean some white guy. I don't have I'm not going to go into all the definitions and angles and pictures to show that ready means a red undertone, but a white guy is not having a black son. Psalm of Solomon 1:5 says, Solomon, being his son, was black and comely. And when you read in the Spanish Bible, it's morena. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts. This is a black guy. This is a black guy that had a red undertone. Just for those that might, I already know that they have a tendency to go to war on the internet. So ready means he's a brother. Okay, keep reading.
It says, now he was ready, and with all of a beautiful countenance,
And he was an attractive young man. Okay.
and goodly to look to.
Yep. Okay. Read on.
And the Most High said, arise, anoint him, for this is he.
All David knows is he's the last to be chosen. He has no idea why. Samuel has no idea why. But now, your life has now just been flipped upside down. Because you're told you're the king of Israel, of all of Israel. And you were a sheep herder not too long ago. You're a young kid, and you were a sheep herder. Read on.
Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren.
Uh-huh.
And the Spirit of the Most High came upon David from that day forward.
So what happened to David?
He was anointed,
He was chosen.
chosen by the Most High.
David was chosen. And the Spirit came over him as well. Do you have that verse when Saul got chosen? When Saul got anointed? Find it. But I'm gonna keep talking as y'all find it. Because this wasn't a one-time event. David being chosen just meant now your battle starts. Now your journey starts. Alright? Keep reading. 14.
14. It says, but the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul,
Mm-hmm.
and an evil spirit from the Most High troubled him.
You can read a little faster. But I wanted to bring this point up.
Yeah. 1 Samuel chapter 9.
Uh-huh. And what? Go there. 1 Samuel 9 and
9 and 1.
I don't know. I'm waiting for him to find it.
It's a song that
You want to go straight to the point?
Yeah, when it said the Spirit on the Lord fell on him, and he was prophesying with the disciples.
Oh.
Or he was prophesying with the prophets. If you got it, pull it. If you don't,
I got you. It's 10.
okay, read it.
1 Samuel chapter 10, verse 1.
Okay.
Then Samuel took a vial of oil and poured it upon his head and kissed him and said, is it not because the Lord hath anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance?
Mm-hmm.
When thou art departed from me today, then thou shalt find 2 men by Rachel's sepulchre in the border of Benjamin at Zelzah, and they will say unto thee, the asses which thou wentest to seek are found, and lo, thy father hath left thee.
Verse 6.
Okay,
Yeah.
hath left the care of the asses to the sorrow for you, saying, what shall I do for you, my son?
Okay, now jump to verse 6.
Verse 6. And the Spirit of the Most High will come upon thee, and thou shalt prophesy with them, and shalt be turned into another man.
That's very important. Because what does it signify the Spirit does to you?
It changes you.
It changes you. It changes your mindset. It changes your perspective. He was no longer the fleshly, carnal guy that he once was before the anointing process happened. Now, for us, the change doesn't happen as fast. All right, a lot of us take a little longer to get that motivation and inspiration to be a different human being, different man and woman. But in this case, when the Spirit comes on you, your motivation and your thought process, your view of life flips. Saul at one point was that same spiritual man. He was a man that was motivated by the Most High. He was a man that his inspiration came by pleasing the Heavenly Father and making sure the Heavenly Father was okay with his day-to-day actions. That's important to note because we're going to see the change and down the line and how he is now. Now that David's been anointed. Now that David's been anointed and that spirit has now left Saul, he went back to his previous man. All right, now let's go back. Let's go back to 16 and verse 14.
Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 14.
And all we're doing is we're setting up and breaking down what started happening to David after he got the title of the king, after he was told you're chosen, after he was given the spirit, after he was given the motivation to be a godly man. Life didn't just switch from in a positive light, not immediately at least. He had to go through many ups and downs and afflictions and adversities to even justify the spirit he had on him. Because this whole process is about justifying, do you deserve what you were given? Do you deserve the inspiration you were given? That's what the Most High is trying to find out this entire time. But we'll get into that as well. Keep reading.
1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 14.
Yep.
It says, but the Spirit of the Most High departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Most High troubled him.
So now Saul's got to fight demons, and he's defenseless. We all got to fight demons every single day. But the one thing that separates us from everybody else is we have the scriptures. We have the testimonies. We have counselors. We have people and people we can rely on and confide in, and not be charged hundreds of dollars to be prescribed BS medicine, to be heavily medicated. We can sit here and search and look at someone's life who might have gone through similar circumstances, but because they did it the right way, it worked out for them. What does that instill in us? Hope. Went through a whole class on, it was Wednesday, about trust. Trust builds what? Hope. Having trust in the program, having trust in the Most High, creates a stronger hope and belief that the Most High is going to keep coming through for you. Every test you conquer, everything you get over, it strengthens your own personal belief in the Most High. So you don't got to see Christ in your face to believe He's real. And it doesn't make sense. Your faith doesn't make sense to somebody else who's faithless. The only thing that you can give them is your testimonies. And whether they choose to see those testimonies and believe those testimonies is solely based off of the Most High wants them to see. Because it doesn't make sense to the rational mind. And it's not supposed to. It's not meant for everyone.
And if you forget the paths of the Most High, what it's showing here is that the Spirit will be on you one time, and then the attention will go on to the younger man.
Yeah.
And that attention is no longer on you.
Or just the new willing spirit.
That nourishing.
Because a lot of times, the Most High puts us on time clocks. We don't know what that time clock is. We don't know. I don't want to jump it. It's in here. We'll go. You know what? We'll do it. Just on that point, you brought up a good point. Give me 2nd Ezra. Oh man, 2nd Ezra chapter 15. No, maybe 15. 14. Give me 2nd Ezra 14 and verse 32 through 34. 31 actually. Give me 31.
2nd Ezra chapter 14.
Because you can look at the story and be like, man, the Most High really set Saul up. He gave Saul the spirit, the inspiration, changed his life, changed his perspective, had him get respect, had him roll in a powerful stance, and then took it off him. And now he's left defenseless, fighting these spirits that man can't fight by themselves. Fighting the temptations that we cannot get through by ourselves. We read it, I think, Monday or Wednesday, how it's not in man to walk. It's Jeremiah 10:23. It's not in man to walk without the Most High. I'm paraphrasing it bad, but you can read it on your own time. It's not in us to sit here and walk and navigate our own life. We're meant to fall on our face if we try to do that. So now I'll read that verse, 2nd Ezra 14, verse 31.
God, 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 31. Then was the land, even the land of Sion, parted among you by lot. But your fathers and ye yourselves have done unrighteousness.
What he's saying is the Most High had everything set up for us in the very beginning. The land, the influence, the respect was going to be given us from the very beginning. But what did we and our forefathers do? What did our forefathers do in response?
But your fathers and ye yourselves
And us, It wasn't just our forefathers. It's our spirits, our reincarnated spirits too. We was disobedient. We was doing our own thing. We was what? Read on.
Have done unrighteousness.
We were doing unrighteousness back then, and we were doing unrighteousness now. So we can't blame our fathers and our grandparents and their sins for why our lot isn't a positive lot and why we're suffering in life. Because not only were they messing up and committing unrighteousness, we were messing up. And being in the same spot, in their same shoes, would have messed up exactly the same. We're no different. We're not better than them. Unless you're relying on the Most High. Unless you're taking on a new mindset. Unless you're embracing the inspiration of being chosen and actually become a new man and woman in Christ. Then you become better than your parents. Then you become better than your ancestors. Then you can actually set a way and an inspiring path for your kids to follow after you in the future. Then and only then. But our base form ain't nothing special. It never has been. But in response, how does the Most High operate with us? When we forsake the benefits that we're given. We don't.
But your fathers and ye yourselves have done unrighteousness and have not kept the ways which the highest commanded you.
Because there's a way and a direction the Most High wants all of us to operate. And like I said earlier, just because we got the direction, just because we like the mire, don't mean we like to be in the mire. Don't mean we like every direction and every angle and every counsel we get. We don't like that. Now we got two decisions to make. We always got two decisions, life or death, every day. Every day is a life or death decision. Every thought can be positive or negative. Every word can be negative or positive. Everything we do is depending on how we look at the Most High. Everything we say is depending on how we look at the Most High. Every thought we choose to entertain is how we look at the Most High. And if you fail too many of these tests, which is what this class is about, if I'm chosen, why am I tested? If you being chosen, having the inspiration to want to serve the Most High, fail too many of these tests, what does He do to you? Read on.
Verse 32. And forasmuch as he is a righteous judge.
An unrighteous judge?
Righteous judge.
A righteous judge, for as much as the Most High is righteous, and His perspective and His judgment of right and wrong and punishment is fair, what does He do? Read.
He took from you in time the thing that He had given you.
Read it again.
He took from you in time the thing that He had given you.
So why did He take the spirit from Saul? Just think about it. Saul didn't value the spirit. Saul didn't value the guidance. Saul, remember, it said when he got the spirit, you're going to be talking amongst the prophets. Then you start reading later in Saul's life, biography, he's not talking with the prophets anymore. Why? Why don't you want to be around the spiritual people anymore?
Because that spirit got taken away from him.
No. He wasn't, this is before the spirit got taken away from him.
Okay.
He wasn't with the prophets anymore. He wasn't going to the synagogues anymore because that wasn't really in his heart.
He allowed himself to be corrupt.
So he digressed basically.
Because contrary to what David was praying for, let me rely on your testimonies. Let me not be covetous. Let my eyes behold vanity. That's everything Saul gave his mind to. Everything David prayed, let me not follow into. What do you think he took the inspiration from? You can never do anything against the truth but for the truth. If you don't want to be an example of righteousness, fine. You can be what not to do in the truth. You can be who not to be in the truth. What path not to follow in the truth. You can be that person. But just because you're in the building doesn't mean you're going to have the spirit on you. Because if you keep failing these tests, you don't take this serious, you're not taking the path and the guidance serious enough, you don't like the mire. You don't like the elders. You don't like the counsel. You don't like the scriptures. You don't like what path and mindset is taking you because it's uncomfortable. And it makes you feel less than.
And what is that thing that he takes?
It makes you feel less than and uncomfortable because you realize how much you still got to work on. Then you start panicking. Then you start self-condoning. Then you get deeper and deeper into your foolishness. And this is what happened to Saul. What you got?
I was say, and what is that thing that he takes away from you? What did he take from Saul? He took away that wisdom.
Yeah.
And what is that wisdom? That wisdom is that favor from the Most High.
Come.
That's a benefit that is your protection.
Come. It's your protection It's your way of navigation in life
Wisdom shall be the stability
of that time.
Time.
Exactly. When you don't have the wisdom, you don't have the inspiration to want to get the wisdom. That's really what this is about. This is about the inspiration. People have prudence in life. People have common sense. Well, you should have common sense. But common sense can't get you through spiritual up and downs. Common sense starts having you tap into vices, tap into vanity. Because when you don't have any answers, what do we tend to do naturally? Go back to our comfort zones. Go back to what we saw. Whatever we saw growing up. Whatever we saw our peers do. What experience, we pull from experiences regardless. What did your peers do when they're panicking, they're stressed out? Oh, well, they just, when my friend's boyfriend broke up with her, she just won and has had fun for 5 years. I'm not getting too explicit, but we know what that means.
Yep.
But she didn't see what happened after that 5 years when she was depressed and hated her life. But I'm going to do that because I remember that. I remember that counsel. It's like, girl, just have fun. Just enjoy yourself. Or the guys, you know what? You didn't get no respect in the streets. You better make some respect for yourself. Join this crew. Handle this business. Handle this work for me. Then you look up, you locked up. And that's your whole life gone. Because you was trying to prove a point. Because you weren't taught what manhood was by your father or a father figure. So you had to try to make a way. You took bad experiences from people around you that had no spiritual conscience. No wisdom. We make bad decisions every single day because we choose the wrong path. But for those that are chosen, you have the right path in front of you. You have an opportunity in a way of life that you can trace afterwards. What did you have to say? I saw you say that.
So, Saul lived in a really value of the Most High God.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Most High took that spirit from him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he reverted back to his natural man.
Yep,
But he stayed king.
that's the point. He stayed the king. Now whose test is this for? Is it for Saul? It's for David. Saul is no longer. Saul is now a puppet. Remember, you can't do anything against the truth before the truth. Saul is still being used in whatever capacity he's being used in. Just because you don't got the spirit on you, don't mean you have to get used. We're all puppets at the end of the day. What's not going to use us however he wants us to use us. The difference is, do you want to be used for righteousness' sake and be honored at the end? Or you want to be used as a fool and still to suffer for in the back end? That is the only difference. Everyone's going to be taking life experiences and taking counsel verbally or watching from everybody around them. We're all analytical creatures. That's how we survive. We see our environment. We see what not to do. We see what to do. We see what's dangerous. We see what's safe. The Most High put everything in two, wicked and evil, good and bad, foolish and wisdom. So Saul just became the fool. And what type of king you don't want to be? But how long did he have to sit here and serve that fool?
He made vessels unto honor and vessels unto dishonor.
You got to serve a dishonorable vessel for 10, 15 years. But you're chosen. Not just that. There's more to this character that we ain't read yet. But imagine that. You're a sheep herder. That was your entire life. Now you're told you're going to be a king. And you're about to start serving some guy that now got an evil spirit on. So let's get back into that. But let's finish this real quick. No. You're good. So the Most High says he's going to take that spirit from him, right? Give me back in 1 Samuel 16 and verse 14. We're going to read that.
1 Samuel chapter 16,
Let's
verse
do that.
14.
Yep.
It says, but the Spirit of the Most High departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Most High troubled him. And Saul's servant said unto him, behold, now an evil spirit from the Most High troubleth thee.
Okay. So the spirit left Saul. We just read why. He didn't appreciate it. He was committing unrighteousness. That's for another day. But he didn't follow the path, the advice, the counsels he was getting from the Most High. Therefore, that spirit got removed from him. And now he's got to fight these demons in the world without that protection. Remember, the spirit, the wisdom, and the inspiration protects you from what? That was what Ephesians 6 talks about. That spiritual armor. That armor from the elements, those principalities. That's what 2 Corinthians 5 and 11 talks about, I believe. The principalities, the people of darkness, the powers of darkness, whatever they may be. Influences that are created to make you fall away. That the Most High allows to be around you to see where you're at. No, so you can see where you're at. That's the thing. The temptations are not there because the Most High don't know you. Keep that in mind. He's known you from the womb. He knew what spirit you were before you were even created. Let's get that. Give me John 13 and verse 18. St. John 13 and verse 18. And then I gotta find this in Matthew here real quick.
John chapter 13
Mm-hmm.
and verse 18.
1 second, so let me find this real quick. Let me find it. All right, read that.
John chapter 13 and verse 18.
Yeah.
I speak not of you all. I know whom I have chosen.
Read that again. He said, I'm not talking about everybody. When I say someone's going to betray me, I'm not saying everybody. Read it from top.
John chapter 13 verse 18. I speak not of you all.
Mm-hmm.
I know whom I have chosen.
Christ says, I already know who I'm chosen. I know who's going to make it. I know who's written in the book of life. I know who's here and who's meant to be here and stay. And I know who's here and is not meant to stay. He was saying that for the disciples who had been following him for years, working miracles with him, seeing lepers get healed and seeing thousands of people get healed off of two fish and 5 loaves of bread, seeing them walk on water. And you're telling me someone here is not sincere? Someone here is not going to make it? Because they got some real sickness in their heart that they haven't solved yet? Because they haven't passed their test? Because they don't want to pass their test? As bad as they might say they do? That's what he's saying. I know who I've chosen. Read on.
I speak not of you all. I know whom I have chosen.
Mm-hmm.
But that the scripture may be fulfilled. He that eateth bread with me hath lifted up his heel against me.
He says, I know who I've chosen, but I also know not everyone here is sincere, and I know some of you are going to betray me. I know someone's going to betray me in front of me. Because that's what the scripture prophesied. So what does that mean about us? He knows who's meant to be here. He knows who's meant to serve him. He knows who's going to change. He knows how long it's going to take for you to change. And he knows what he put around you. But why did he put this around you? Why did he put these tests around you? These particular temptations. Why was he testing David? Why was he putting those particular temptations around David? What was he trying to get out of David? Or rather, what was he trying to have David see in himself? Let's get that. I don't want to do that. Oh, what you got? You got a
It was definition of test.
read it.
Definition of test. Noah Webster's 1828 test. Definition number 4.
Yes.
And then there was another part to it. Definition 4. That with which anything is compared for proof of its genuineness. A standard.
So the tests are to see if you match the standard of righteousness that he set for us. And how genuine are you? What you got?
Now to what you're talking about, when you jump a little farther down, it gives an example. It says, to test this position.
Okay. To test your position, and the position we're talking about right now is the position of being chosen. The position of being inspired and drawn in to serve the Most High. All right? Read over here.
What it says, these remnants.
Yeah, read these remnants and let's see. Let's stop. Yeah, we'll do this. Stop right there. Come. All right. So, get backdrop on this. This is referring to the time when we had gotten to Israel, during the time of Joshua, and the Most High told us, Dada said he can't hear the question or the comment. Okay, I'll repeat the question next time it gets asked. If there's a question, I'll repeat it just so the audience can hear. But what we're on right now is when we got into the land of Canaan, we got into the promised land, and Joshua was leading us through. We were going through wars. The Most High told us and reminded us, wipe out all of the Canaanites. No, hey, stop it. Stop it. I knew you were doing it.
Hungry up in here,
Stop
man.
it.
You thinking about Cain?
No. I got a clean diet now. I'm making some potatoes. And I'm trying to eat good. No. Don't open that door for me. Oh, man, that's a demon. Okay. That is a temptation. I ain't gonna lie. That red and white is a problem. But the point is, he said, during the time of Joshua, he said, take out all of the Canaanites. The Canaanites. Stop it! The Canaanites. Not Canaanites, the Canaanites. All right? Take out all the Canaanites.
Right.
Why? Why would he say that? Is it because he just hates them? Well, they were wicked, so probably. But part of it was they were wicked. They were polluting his land, chosen land. The other part of it is he said, y'all can have this whole land. So why would he short-circuit us and not give us everything he promised us, right? But the main reason, we're going to find out right here. Read that real quick. This is the Matthew Henry page what?
This is
Commentary, Bible commentary.
page 131.
Page 131.
The idolatry of the Israelites.
Okay.
All right. These remnants of the Canaanites were left to prove Israel.
Now, the remnants of Canaan were left to prove our own sincerity. All right, that's important to keep in mind. Because, one, we didn't follow the order in the first place. So he allowed them to stay there as a further test to show why you should have wiped them out. But we wouldn't figure it out until much, much later. You realize they became a thorn in our spine all the way to the time of Judges. From the time of Moses to the time of Judges was a span about 300 to 400 years.
Because we didn't want to follow the Most High orders because he told us to wipe them out.
And those Canaanites, those Philistines became big bullies to us during the time of the Judges. They was really jacking us up. So that's important to keep in mind. But it says these remnants of the Canaanites were left to prove Israel. Keep reading.
God, whether they will keep the way of the Lord or not.
Here's the question. Did that test have to be there? Did we have to have that test there of Canaan? You said Con? Why you say Con? No, I'm not trying to. I'm sincerely asking. I'm asking because this is important. Because if you think Con, then someone else thinks Con. So why do you think we had to have that test of Canaan there? No, because we already had the land guaranteed to us. What you got?
To see if they were going to keep their discipline and keep their reverence toward the Most High.
Well, that was the result of us leaving them there.
Case, the Most High had it, you know what I mean?
Well, remember, this was a new test created. Remember, the original order was to wipe them out.
Right.
It was to wipe out the idolatry. Let's bring it back to modern times.
Okay.
Let's bring an example. Some of the vices and vanities that become idols and stresses for us, do we have to have them as stresses now? I talked about this in class before. Some of the battles we have are man-made. We construct these battles.
Yes.
We follow the fitness sites that, they're swole as cuss, and now we start envying how swole they are. Or we follow the influence that live a pitch-perfect life that every time we know it's bad for us to look at them, so we start getting envious. And we start being upset that they're living this marvelous life that we're not living. Marvelous life. So
kids is decked out.
Kids is decked out. And now we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. We're comparing, contrasting our lives to the wicked. Some of these battles we construct. When the Most High said, don't even worry about it. So we followed the Most High said, the money wouldn't be an issue because I don't care about money. Because God said he'll take care of me. So that's not really a thing for me. If I'm following the Most High, the house I live in also wouldn't matter because he said he's always going to have a roof over my head.
Right.
So then that's not an issue. He says, I have to work for him. I have to serve him. But I don't have a car. But I also know he's going to take care of me. So I don't have to worry about that because someone's going to give me to work anyway. There's some of these battles here that, it's inconvenient. It's inconvenient as cuss. but it doesn't have to be a struggle for us if we eliminated it as a struggle. Just like the Canaanites, if you eliminated Canaan, that wouldn't have been a test to prove if you were sincere or not. But because you didn't, now we're going to see if you're sincere. Because what do we tell ourselves? I'm stronger than this temptation here. So although I'm keeping this temptation around, I'm not going to succumb to it.
Right.
That's what we tell ourselves. We believe that. I believe if I follow these particular type of women on my account, I'm not going to succumb to whatever lust spirit that might be out there in the world. I'm so much more spiritual than that. There's no way. There's no way.
Stronger than this.
Or I know whatever, there's certain men that I, as a woman, I would follow. No temptation. I wouldn't think about it. Because you know what? I'm strong. I'm not like these other people. You start playing this prideful game. Like I'm better in the spirit than others when you're really one decision away from getting back and down the dumps.
They start to flirt with it.
You flirt with it. Dalian had a class about that a long time ago. You start flirting with sin.
Yeah.
You flirt with it, and then wonder why you get stung. There's a verse about who's going to pay the snake charmer. You're playing with the snake, you're dancing with it, and then you get bit, and you wonder why you got bit. But you thought you were skilled. The snake charmer plays with a snake because he's skilled with playing with snakes. What does that mean? The sinner that succumbs to sin starts sinning continually because they're playing with sin the whole time. They think they're skilled with sin.
Scripture says, "Know what's evil for thy what?
The
For thy
spirit, and give not unto
Give
it."
not unto it. What brothers like to do, they give their spirit to that negativity.
Yeah.
They wonder why they got stung behind it.
Why? Because they think that's not a temptation anymore. I'm past it. I'm past that
I
now.
can handle it.
I'm mature now. I've been in the truth for X amount of months or years or decades, and that's not a problem anymore. Yes.
But the scripture do say that you're drawn away
Yeah.
by your own lust.
James 1:13. You are, but when the lust and the covetousness is in our face, we're not thinking about that verse because we think we're better than that verse because we think that's not going to draw us away. So if I tell myself I'm not going to be drawn away and I put sin in my face, you're asking for it.
It's only a matter.
You know what's crazy? It's almost like I said at the beginning of the class, without the testimonies and without the guidance of the Most High, we really don't have the strength to fight the temptations and powers that are before us. It's impossible to, it's almost impossible, especially in the younger generation. If you grew up with a phone, it's almost impossible not to look at your phone. It's almost impossible. They've gotten so good. I just seen a documentary on Netflix. It talks about how AI knows you better than you. So what it'll do is the algorithm will start popping up sites and popping up suggestions of people who to follow who they might think you're going to think about in the future.
Yeah.
And you wonder why, dang, I was just thinking about this. How is this on my screen right now? Because they know you better than you. There's been times when AI can predict a woman's pregnant before she even knows she's pregnant. Because she started looking up gelatin one day. And they're like, oh, she's pregnant. Then all of a sudden you see baby pictures. Like, why is there somebody babysitting my phone? What's going on? Then 2 weeks later, I miss my, period. I'm pregnant. This is real reports. What it's showing is the prince of the air is smarter than you. He's more skilled than you. And if you don't have the defense of the scriptures, you're going to succumb to whatever temptation is out there. Whatever is already in you. I went over this on Wednesday. You already have malignity root in you. You've already got evil in you. You're already starting off in the negative zone, in the evil zone. You were born into an evil world with an evil heart. And you're trying to learn how to get clean and stay clean. You're fighting an uphill battle. So with all that being said, now the Most High's like, okay, I know you better than you. Just like Satan knows you better than you. Because we're talking to the same guy, the big guy. Just like Job. Job's like, look at my servant.
Yeah.
He's bragging on Job because he knows Job. That means they're talking about us.
Right.
We're a spectacle unto who?
The angels.
The angels are watching us constantly. Just so y'all know, the good angels and the bad angels are both watching. And they're both serving, and they're both taking orders from the Most High. That means everybody's watching you. And just like the angels record every thought process every hour. I forgot what that verse is in Revelation. But every hour, there's an angel recording everything you do. Every thought process, every word you say, every action you take. You don't think them devils is checking that sheet? Oh, I got him. Oh, there's 3 hours of fire on his mind. Let me put him in his face. Let me see what he does. Hey, Lord, can I do this? Oh, I can? Cool, I'm going to get him. How far can I go? I can go that far? I'm going to get him. These are real conversations you read in the scriptures. Remember the prophet? There was a conversation amongst the angels, and the Most High was like, how are you going to get this guy?
King Ahab.
Ahab, yeah. And the one spirit's like, let me be a lying spirit amongst the prophets.
But it was
And make him believe that if he goes to war, he's gonna win the war.
But before that, there was multiple spirits plotting.
Debating him, man. Let's
There was
just curse him.
debating
Let's get him sick. Let's get him sick. How about have him lose his rib? How about have him lose his money? Take
Most
his
High
money
like,
from him. That's all right, but I want something else. Give me something spicy. I want something better than that.
And then he came in.
Let him believe all those guys he trusted that for advice and counselors that he's gonna the information they give him is gonna be legitimate. Because the real guy, I think it was Malcolm. I think it was his name. He put him in jail. The real prophet, he put him in jail. The real prophet was giving him the real answer, like, do not go to war. And he told him, do not go to war. Your prophets are lying to you. He said, no, I told you. Josaphat or Jeroboam, what his name was. He always lied on me. He always talking down on me, man. He want me to win. All my prophets said I'm going to be all right. I'm going to win this war. But this one buster is saying I'm not going to win. I'm not buying this guy. Sure enough, he goes to war, he dies. Why am I going so in depth with this? The Most High knows us, and so do these demons. He knows our temptations, and he knows what we succumb to. But give me this back here with the Canaanites. Because although he knows this, and he's trying to set us up for the positive, he said, get rid of the Canaanites. We say, no, we're not doing that. It's too much work. I want to build my vineyards. I want to relax. I want to establish my family and start my life. I'm tired of fighting every day. We told them how we're tired of fighting. So we can leave that temptation there because we're not going to fall for those idols. That weakness. So that's weak. We're strong over here. We're men. We're righteous men and women in God. So let's read on what he said.
Come from the top. These remnants of the Canaanites were left to prove Israel, whether they would keep the way of the Lord or not.
But like we just said, that test didn't have to be there. We manufactured the test because we didn't want to follow the orders that the Most High gave us in the first place. Just like nowadays, I don't want to follow all the orders and the direction the Most High is taking me, so therefore I have new tests in front of me that didn't have to be there. All right? Keep reading.
Come. Not that the Most High might know them.
But he's not saying he's testing you. Just like James 1:13 says. In 1:13, 1 and 14, he has no need for a wicked sinner. Right? He doesn't want someone who fails tests. When he chooses you, his intention for you is not so you fall on your face and go back into your old ways. The choosing of you is to really flex to all the rest of the angels how sincere you are, like he was doing with Job. Look at the choice that I made. This is why Christ said, not Christ. Paul said in Hebrews 4 verse 4 through 6, when we go back to our filthiness, we crucified Christ afresh. Why did he say that? Because the fact that I chose you, and you can't lay off of that bullshit. Excuse my French. You can't lay off of that folly. You can't stop making the same mistakes over and over again. You can't stop being recorrected. That temptation still gets you.
Or you can't stop complaining.
You can't stop complaining. You can't stop arguing. You can't stop debating. He's saying you're crucifying Christ afresh because he chose you. That's why even in 2 Peter 2 and 21 through 22, if you go back to your filthiness, then what was the point of giving you the knowledge? What was the point of waking you up if you couldn't sustain? This is how he's looking at it. Versus us, we're like, oh, the Lord's just messing with me. He don't want me to win. I must not be good enough to be here. I've heard that come out of people's mouth. You know what? I'm just not good enough to be a servant of God. That's why I keep failing these tests. No, you just don't want to change. You don't want to change as bad as you might think you do. Because there's certain actions, there's certain mindsets that you have to take on to really reflect the action of righteousness. Like David. Saul thought he wanted to change. Saul thought he wanted to be righteous. Until it was time for him to be righteous, and he didn't want to be righteous anymore. Then he was upset that the Spirit had taken off him. We were upset when Canaan and the Philistines were kicking our tail and bullying us, but 400 years ago, previous, we said there wouldn't be a problem. We were upset that Moses was tagging our land, tagging our crops, taking our women from us, putting us in captivity. But we told the Most High, their idols were not going to cause us to fall. We weren't going to flirt with their foolishness. We have our own personal God. We don't need their gods. We told the Most High that. Read on. So read again from not that God might know them.
Come. It says, whether they will keep the way of the Lord or not. Not that the Most High might know them, but that they might know themselves.
Read that again.
But that they might know themselves.
Why was the test left? Since you don't want to listen, it's no longer about me knowing if you deserve to be chosen or not. It's so you can know if you deserve to be chosen or not. Based off of how much you fail these tests. How often you fail these tests. Read that whole thing again.
Come. It says, not that the Most High might know them, but that they might know themselves.
Because we have an ill perception of our own selves when it comes to righteousness. We think because we show up and read the scriptures and we do a couple good things that we're on the right path. But when the test comes, because what is the peaceful days for? Y'all know what the peace is when there's no problems and everything is seems to be going in the right direction and life just seems to be good.
That means you better study up, bro. You better prepare, bro. You better study up.
That means they're just not being honest with that stuff.
Oh, we're liars. That's why I said the ones that don't stick to the mire are hypocrites. You're a hypocrite because you swear up and down that you're a man and woman of God. But you forget the Most High. You forget the Most High when you sin. That's why when you read in 1 John 4 and verse 6, if you're a sinner, you're not a son of God, you're a son of Satan. Right. He said that. Because if you sin, God is not in your thoughts anymore. At that moment, at that time, you're no longer thinking about the Most High. You're no longer inspired by Him. You're inspired by something else. He says the liars are the son of Satan. Why am I going so in depth with this? It's not to condemn everybody. We all make mistakes. We all fall short. But that's why I keep saying, how often are we failing the same test over and over and over again? Most High understands our nature. That's why He created opportunities for us to get back right. He created whole feast days, holy days. You mess up, you got this one day. If you fast and pray, if you're sincere and you make changes, I'll forgive you. He's got stopgaps for us. He knows where we're at. But if you're saying, I'm going to be better this year, Lord, whatever sickness I had last year, that's the old me.
Right.
And then you do the same thing the next year, you think there's forgiveness of sins? I can tell you right now, 1 Corinthians 10:25 says there's not. There's not if I'm making the same choices over and over again. And I'm not changing.
And you're making empty promises to the Most High.
Exactly.
That's provoking Him to anger.
And that's the point. But where is this getting fueled from? Because again, the same mistakes we're making, it's not that we're making it because I don't think a lot of us want to sin. Right? Just like the Israelites, when they first said, don't worry about Canaan, they won't be a problem for us. I think they believe that. I think they believe if I can have this temptation on my side every day, I'm strong enough to get through it. So what does that mean? Like the sister says, we got to be honest with ourselves. And we got to be real. And we're not as dope and spiritual as we think we are. And if I can stay in a humble mindset, because all I'm pointing to is humility here. Because there's a difference between a Saul who didn't have humility versus a David. Saul was very unaware of his own deficiencies in the Spirit. And it wasn't until he was without the Spirit that he started realizing, I messed up. But David, from the very beginning, was very aware. Let me hold on to my testimonies, to your testimonies. Let me not be covetous. And let me not behold vanity. What does that mean? What does that mean he knows about himself?
That he has that spirit.
That's in him.
That's in.
That's in him. We all have shortcomings. We all have obvious sins in us. David said himself in Psalm 26, don't let me succumb to my secret faults. Or teach me my secret faults. Meaning, there's stuff in me I know is there that will pull me away from you, Lord. So teach me how not to fall away. Yeah. That's a very honest assessment of yourself. Yeah. But that can't just be a one-time conversation. That has to be a constant realization. It has to be a constant working on and a constant development on. Because that doesn't ever go away. The deficiencies, the problems, the temptations never go away. They just get masked with more strength, more fortitude, more positive spiritual reinforcement. That's how you fight them. It's not like the temptation of women, money, success, and life is ever goes away. It's always going to be there.
Right.
Most of us says he didn't say. Christ said, "I pray not to take them out of the world, but pray they don't fall within the world." I'm paraphrasing. But what's the point? He's not telling us leave the world, leave the city, leave the country, just dwell amongst Israelites, and you'll be okay. That's not what he's saying. You got to go through this test as someone who's chosen. Because you need to see where you fall at the end of the day. Yes, sis.
So, when the Most High put the nations above us, provoked us to jealousy, that was that one of the reasons, because we just not being honest with ourselves and knew that if we had we done away with Canaan, they wouldn't be allowed to provoke.
Yeah. So the question was, the sister asked, so when the Most High provoked us to jealousy by putting the nations over us, was that because he knew what?
Was that because we didn't do away with?
Was that because we didn't do away with the paganistic cultures, the decisions of living our own life, the decision to be free spirit? The answer is yes, but it's also because we didn't want to follow the Most High. So his understanding is, okay, you don't want to serve me, I'm going to make you serve somebody else. Because you're a servant. You're going to be a servant regardless. He chose to be servants. He chose to be prisoners. He said our people specifically are going to serve something, somebody. So either you serve God or you serve the nations. That was one of the main factors. Now, what made it even worse for us is the fact that we had to serve these nations who are foolish, which parallels who? David. Parallels David. Because David also had to serve a fool, being Saul. David had to serve someone who was going through head trips, who had mental illness. Well, let's get into it. Well, sorry, 9:17. Dang. Let's finish this and get to the stories. I want to get to that point.
It says, not that the Most High might know them, but that they might know themselves.
Yep.
It was to try whether they could resist the temptation to idolatry, which the Canaanites would lay before them. The Most High had told them they could not.
Deuteronomy 7:4. He said he told them, your sons and your daughters will serve these idols if you don't take them out. Moses warned them before they left into Canaan, if you don't take out everyone in this nation, your family is going to fall. Your kids, all that hard work, all that spiritual development that I was putting into you guys, and you're putting into your kids will go for naught. And then you have to fall into these curses that I'm going to tell you in Deuteronomy 28, because you don't want to lock in.
They got comfortable.
Well, they got comfortable in their own righteousness. A lot of times we get comfortable in our own righteousness. Because what? Knowledge does what? So I know a couple things now. I'm a little more comfortable in my environment. I know how to follow the most basic principles of being Israelite. I say basic because just to remind you, dietary laws, moral laws, civil laws, all that was taught as a baby back in Israel. So we're starting from scratch, and we get proud off of the little that we know. Nothing wrong with that. But that's just the beginning. The beginning should let you know I have a lot more to work on. For instance, I'll give you an example. I'm learning a new language, and I think it's called the Dunningham effect or something like that. The Dunningham effect is during different hours of learning a language, you have different peaks of feeling like you know everything. For instance, when I first learned the language, after about 200 hours of saying the language, I thought I knew everything about Spanish. I thought I was going to be fluent. And then I had some in-laws come in town and were speaking to me, and I knew nothing. And I felt embarrassed, I felt vexed, and I was frustrated. Then I went back, grinded some more. Then I hit 600 hours, just 400 hours more. Then I started seeing the world very differently. I saw the language was more complex and deeper than I might have thought. You do a little more study. Now you're at 1,000 hours. You're like, man, it's even deeper. Now at first I thought it was a pond. I thought the pond, the journey for Spanish was a pond. It was a short little trip. It wasn't gonna be that bad. Then you get deeper into the language. You actually start knowing what's going on around you. You actually follow in conversations. Then you start trying to speak, and you sound like a dang 2-year-old. And you're upset.
So you went from a pond to an ocean.
I'm at an ocean. I'm looking at a vast ocean of words, palabras, the ways of thinking that I have no idea. Can't comprehend.
Different dialects of the same language.
I'm not even at the slangs yet. The slangs are a whole new life. I'm not even there at the slangs yet. The Dominican slangs. The Cuban slangs. Puerto Ricans, there's a dialect. It's I think it's the Peruvians. They don't even speak Spanish, dang near.
Oh,
Or like the Chilean or Peruvians, one of them, they speak a whole different language. It's not even Spanish, bro. The Spanish people just go down there and they can't understand me.
it's like they speak Spanish and they're from Freeport or something. It's
Yeah,
hard to
bro. But you're seeing this journey. You're like, man, I thought I knew it all when I first started. But it's the same thing in the scriptures. You come in, you get zilled up, you think you know everything now. I think I got it. I've heard men say, you know what, I got a hold of my spirit now. But you've only been in for a couple of years. A couple of years is the tip of the iceberg in this truth, just so y'all know. I don't care how long you read the Bible. I'm keeping reading the Bible through 5 times in 1 year's time. You don't know half of the scriptures. Because you're not going to, this is a lifelong journey. Like I just said, in the beginning, Job 8, you don't have enough time in this life to master everything in the spirit. There's not enough time to dissect everything you can get out of this book. Every bit of wisdom and virtue you can acquire from here. It's not enough time. So with that being said, we get caught up in what we do know, what we think we know, and forget those temptations are there to show you you're not like you think you are. You're not as strong as you think you are. So don't get too cocky. Don't get too comfortable. And this is what the Most High was saying. I'm trying to eliminate as much distractions in your life as possible to make it easier for you.
So, and think about it. How old is this book? This is about 4,000, about 5,000. These temptations are that old. You're not going to know them all.
The mankind is today the same. It's the same today, yesterday, and tomorrow. The spirit of people is not going to change. This is why it's so relatable. This is why this book alone is followed by half of the entire world.
It's timeless.
It's 3 to 4 to 5 billion people follow the scriptures. Just so y'all know, they might do it right. They might have their idols mixed in with it. But where you be the Quran, where do they get the inspiration from? The Septuagint. Whether you be Christians or Catholics, what do you think they're trying to read? Might not understand it, but they're getting it from here because it's timeless and it's relatable. And the spirit behind what this book is bringing out is something we can always take from to help grow and develop ourselves. So what is the story that Matthew Henry is bringing out right now showing us? He didn't want to have the temptation in front of us. He didn't want, there's certain battles he set for us that we have to go through. And there's some battles that we leave in front of us thinking we're stronger than we are. And get caught up. And fall on our face. This is why Saul fell. Just so y'all know, quick relatability. The reason why Saul got his rank stripped, the reason why Saul got his power stripped, is because he was told, wipe out the Amalekites. I don't know if you remember the story of the Amalekites, but they became and have become a real thorn in our side. Why was he told to wipe the Amalekites out? Did he give him a full breakdown? This was going to happen in 2 to 3,000 years if you do not do this? No. He said, do it. Nah, but I got to keep the king with me. I got to keep the king with me. He can work for him and we can make a great empire. Nah, you're done, bro. What you got?
No, Samuel said, why did I hear the bleating of sheep?
Yeah.
Why didn't you do what you told me?
That's the point. It's like,
And then Saul said that he followed the order. After that, if you know the storyline,
yeah.
He says, "What are you talking about? I followed the order." So he brushed past the correction that he was receiving from Samuel from the first place.
It's a lie or delusional. I believe that I followed it. But what was the point? The point was, the Most High told Saul, eliminate the Amalekites. Why? Because there's going to be temptation for you in the future. Right. They're going to be a thorn in your side. They've been a problem for Israelites since the time of Moses. Right. So take them out right now. Not only they're a problem for the Israelites in the time of Moses, they're going to be a problem for y'all in the end times. How about that?
To this day.
But you don't think spiritually, Saul. So you know what? I'm taking your rank from him. I'm going to give it to someone who actually understands what's going on. Let's finish this up real quick.
Come. Whether they could resist the temptation to idolatry which the Canaanites would lay before them. The Most High had told them they could not. Deuteronomy 7:4.
Yep.
But they thought they could. Well said the Most High, I will try you. And upon trial, it was found that the tempter's charm were far too strong for them.
And that is the point. We think we can overcome these challenges without relying on the mire, without relying on the landmarks, without relying on the counsel, the scriptures, the understanding. And we get tried, and we fail. And what happens when we fail? Keep reading.
Come. The Most High has told us how deceitful and desperately wicked our hearts are.
Yep, Jeremiah 9:17.
Come. But we are not willing to believe it till by making hold with temptation.
Yep.
We find it too true by sad experience.
It says we find what the Most High was saying to be true when we fall on our face and we fail. We realize that we're not strong and our heart is actually desperately wicked when we make grave mistakes in the spirit. And we cross lines that we might not be able to get back from. And we now have to eat and live the consequence of our actions. This is what he's trying to have us avoid in our life. Why have you suffer these hard, grievous things when I can make your life simpler? Christ said there's a simplicity in Christ. There's a simplicity in me. There's a simplicity in following the Most High. Follow my direction, and I got this whole thing planned out for you. That don't mean you will be affliction free. That don't mean you'll be loss free. It just means whatever you're going through will make sense. A lot of the punishments we go through now didn't have to be this way. It didn't have to be this extreme. We didn't have to lose so much. But we did because we didn't limit the distractions around us, the temptations around us. So, what was the point of going here in the first place? It was to show the tests are not for the Most High to see who's chosen or not. It's for you to see if you were chosen or not. This is why Paul said, make your calling and election sure. Why do you think he said that? It's your responsibility to prove to yourself by matching your life to the scriptures and seeing if it makes sense, if it matches up. Matching your dedication and your service and your mental fortitude to how the Most High wants you to have it. If it doesn't match and your mistakes don't match what the Most High wants you to do and how to live, then you're falling off course. And this race not to the swift. One mistake, a couple mistakes here and there doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You're going to burn and die in hell. But it does mean if you don't correct it sooner or later, that behavior will stick with you when it's time for the real test, when it's time for the real determining factor. A lot of these tests are small tests. A lot of these mistakes are small mistakes. But when that one final test comes, and no one knows what it is, no one knows what it is, how many opportunities of forgiveness do you think you got before he takes that spirit from you? And now you're just operating, pining away, not knowing why. So, let that go. Give me 1 Peter 5:5-6. I can't even get to the story, bro. Wow.
God. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5.
I might have to stop at the story. All right, brother. Give me that.
God. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility. For the Most High resisteth the proud, and giveth grace to the humble.
So what is he doing? He's planning out, and he's showing us what are clear-cut ways of operating to prevent yourself from falling in the spirit. It says the younger in spirit, it's not talking about age. We went over that earlier. It's not talking about age. It's experience and its effectiveness in righteousness. How consistent you are in righteousness. Your job is to submit to the younger, or to submit to the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another. What does that mean to be subject to one to another? Anybody know?
To give up your own opinion and be willing to be led.
Okay. That is part of it. When it says everyone is subject, for instance, I was talking to my rib the other day, and we were talking about what does it mean for a woman to serve. And we were just kind of going over all the classes we've gone over and what she's been taught and her experience and how she's had to learn how to operate and learn what womanhood in the truth meant. And I was explaining to her, I remember I had a personal breakthrough as far as what it meant to be a man in Christ. When Sean Schwan taught this class, me and you always talked about it. There was a class in particular he taught, and he was explaining how when a woman maintains her husband, it makes her angry. And the whole point of the class was getting the men to see that, yes, women have a responsibility in this life. And when it comes to their husband, their job is to serve. Their job is to cater to the needs of their husband. But as a man, if you're going to be a leader, you have to lead in every facet of this life as well. I can't just be a leader at the job. I can't just be a leader with the men. I got to be a leader at the house. Because I have to show and lead by example. Because our camp is all about leading by example. So he was pushing the fact that, look, I get she's got to do X, Y, and Z, but are you going to do X, Y, and Z as a leader and leading by example? And that was my eureka moment. Because that was something that I didn't really understand. And at least up to that point. Because in my head, I'm like, well, Proverbs 31, like they got to do X, Y, and Z. That's their job. But that's how the Most High confirms their righteousness. Like that was the mentality I was rolling in. And it wasn't until I realized I'm a servant and I'm last everywhere I go. Why am I last? As a man, why am I last? I'm last because if I want to sit here and go home and relax, and I get a phone call by my brother, he wants to counsel, my needs come second. I got to answer that phone call. If I had a long 15-hour day and I don't want to talk at my house, I don't want to deal with my kid, I don't want to deal with my wife, I just want to eat and go to sleep. If she needs to counsel or if my son needs time and attention, I can't be selfish. I have to counsel. I have to sit here and play with my son and make sure he knows he's got a loving father regardless of what's going on outside this world. I got to keep coming out of myself, which makes me second. It's a different perspective. It's a different way of operating. Yes, sir. What you got?
Like your needs are the priority.
But our needs aren't the priority a lot of the time.
No, that's what
Yeah.
That person's need is the priority.
Exactly. The people around us needs are more the priority than my own needs. And that's what you're realizing as you get not just rank, but just more understanding in general. This is what Christ saying the whole time. The master is not the one getting his feet rubbed. He's rubbing the feet. He's rubbing the feet. He's serving somebody else. Christ didn't sleep until what? Everybody else slept.
Right. Which was late.
Oh, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everyone is asleep. You got hundreds of people following you. And it isn't until all those hundreds are knocked out you get to enjoy yourself for a little bit. But this is the mentality I had to sit here and have. And I'm using an example to show what does it mean to be subject to one another. Because the elder is still subject to the younger's needs. Because just because I got more wisdom and understanding, if you need something, you need more time, attention. Like we got new brothers that come in the truth. When that, like you said earlier, when that new brother comes in the truth, who gets the attention?
The youngest brother.
If you're a ranking man, at one point in time, all of us here used to get the phone calls and we get the random checkups from the elders, and we would get the I'll take you to Denny's. Let's go over the scriptures, breakdowns. Yeah. Let's get these private scriptures, right? I'm gonna really invest and teach. And you look up, and you're not necessarily getting that all the time.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're doing that with the younger men now, and now you're also doing it with the younger men. Everything switches now that you know more, and you have more experience and knowledge. Your job is to get back. I know we're going off topic, but you know what? I feel like slowing down is important because we're not gonna get to the meat and potatoes of this anyway. So, but what I'm bringing out is when it says the younger submit to the elder and get all you subject to one another. These are foundational understandings. This is the mire here. This is the viewpoint we have to take when we're operating our day-to-day life if you want to avoid the temptations. If I'm a younger subject to the elder, when those temptations, those thoughts arise on me, what am I doing? I'm talking about, I'm getting it out. I'm making sure I'm constantly briefing my thought process. I'm not talking because I want you to agree with my thought process. I'm talking because I want you to check my thought process because I know I'm younger. I'm going to say it again. I'm not counseling as a younger person, younger spirit, for you to agree with me. I'm not going to someone that is going to agree with my thought process because I know I don't know nothing. You know why? Because I'm very real with myself.
Because a lot of times we like to vent, which is nothing wrong with venting, but we
just want to be heard. I don't want you to correct my thought process. This is a problem with men and women. I don't want you to correct. I just want to be heard because in the world I could do that. In the world I could just talk and you wouldn't judge me and I would feel like I got everything off of my chest and I can move on my life. And the truth, it's almost like the relationship is like, man, if I talk to this brother, he's just gonna check. He's gonna give me a lecture. I'm just gonna be a lecture.
You're gonna count on. You can
Like
count on that.
I just want to just chat. Like, how you doing, bro? I'm in the spirit, bro. Man, what you been going through? Oh man, I just been tired. You know, you tired out because you ain't reading enough scriptures out. You know, you need to do X, Y, and Z. Like, dang, I just came to say, to say hello. Like,
I didn't come to get my thoughts scored.
like, that's not why I'm here. That's not why I came in here. But we get frustrated at times because the submitting process and the trying to figure out who we are in the truth and the process of trying to figure out what we're meant to be in the truth starts clouding our own perspectives. This is very simple. Elders submit to younger. Everybody submit to one another. If we did that, a lot of the problems would be a little easier.
And a lot of times we don't look at correction as consideration of love.
No.
We don't look at it like that.
We look at it as you're just picking on me.
Yeah, David said to himself, he said, let the righteous smite me.
It should be a
kindness to me.
It should
You know,
be
he looked at correction
Yep.
as a kindness, meaning that, okay, this brother is lifting up my spirit. This brother is not trying to tear me down. He's trying to give me some type of advice and clarity on my situation.
Yep. But you know the problem with that is? When you're reading the scriptures, all those that couldn't take correction, all those that wanted to separate the afflictors, and I'm gonna call them meanies. There's jerks that are always trying to give them bad news and always trying to tell them you're not doing enough and God is not happy with your actions. What did all those bad kings do? They just push them away, got them killed, put them in dungeons, get out of my face. You're not the guy I want around me. We have a habit of doing that.
Yep.
We want to hear smooth things. I want to hear that I'm doing good. I want to get a pat on my back.
Yep.
You serve God today.
Participation.
How about when you've been doing this a couple years, you don't get pats on the back. You get this is your reasonable service. It was you're supposed to be doing. So you want a pat on the back, what the Most High told you to be doing anyway. Your regular job. Like when we go to work, we don't get a pat on the back from Home Depot. This is showing up today.
Yeah.
No, you're supposed to be here. I put you on the schedule, so you're gonna work. You're gonna work, and you're gonna work till I say you're done.
You don't pick where you get to go.
You don't get to pick. You don't get to throw your hands up and complain, and I don't like this route. No, you're gonna run it, or you're not gonna get paid. How about that?
You have plans, but you're going down real.
Yeah, you're on Mexico. You're on Mexico. Your day is kaput. That's it.
So what you're saying is the glory doesn't go to us; it goes to the Most High.
That's the
At
point.
the end of the day.
It goes to the Most High because you choose to be what in the process. Give me that in verse 5 again.
God. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another,
Yep.
and be clothed with humility.
You get glory, and the Most High gets glory because everything you started going through as a chosen spirit in the Most High, you took it with what? Humility. Humility. I'm gonna read the definition. You give me the definition, cry. Give me humility. You need humility. Yep.
Humility. 1828, Webster's Dictionary.
And ethics.
Now, point number 1. In ethics, freedom from pride and arrogance.
The Most High gets glory, and you get glory because as you're going through your adversities and you're going through your losses and you're not getting what you want to do, you are free from pride, meaning an overestimation of your oneself, or arrogance, an overestimation of your own position in life. David, being the king of Israel, I know we haven't even got to it yet, but that'll probably be next class. Being the king of Israel, having to lose, suffer, not get what he wants, and still couldn't have an overestimation of what his position was. He was the king instead of suffer like a slave. Still had to be servant to somebody else, to a madman at that. Still had to sit here and control his passions, control his feelings of the situation. Couldn't let his personal understanding and his personal perspective get in the way of the perspective the Most High had for him. He didn't get to have an opinion against Saul, even though Saul made no sense. He didn't get to see an act out of character in front of his elder, even though that elder might not have made sense. He had to stay in line. That showed humility. Keep reading.
It says, in ethics, freedom from pride and arrogance, humbleness of mind,
Yep.
A modest estimate of one's own worth.
It's a modest estimate of one's own worth. Now, I'm not saying this to say, you know, you got to go on a straight depression thoughts and you're just the worst thing in the world. You don't even deserve to be alive. I'm not telling anybody to get to that mindset. What it means to have a modest estimation of one's own worth, it means to understand what your worth is tied to and what that worth amounts to. Meaning this. If I have a spiritual estimation of my own worth, I understand my life is nothing without the Most High. And I firmly believe that. So therefore, everything I do has to be connected to the Most High's journey. And if it's not, you're not worth anything. That's how I look at it. You're just another number on a sheet of paper. You're just another statistic. You're just another black guy that is going through the struggle of being a black man in America. That's all I am. Or I can be a black man in America that gave his life up for people around him and for his power. And however that shakes out, however that looks out, I did the best that I personally could in my particular life. But that's my own personal, humble, modest estimation of my own worth. I'm not getting out of myself. I don't think I'm anything other than a servant, less than a servant. My life reflects that. How we work reflects that. That's why everything around us, in this camp specifically, is supposed to remind you who you are. You're a servant. You're up before everybody else is up. When you get off work, it's still dark. When you go home, everyone's asleep. When you wake up, everyone's still asleep. Your life is strictly about the Bible. Your life is strictly about the service of the men around you. This is the type of structure we have in our camp. For those who are wondering, the entire environment is built for us to realize we're servants. And as servants, can I be happy in my servitude? Can I understand that the Most High has great things for me? But while I'm waiting for those great things to happen, if they happen, can I be humble? Can I appreciate the little He's given me? Can I appreciate the little piece of my life He's given me? The little rest of my life He's given me, when there is rest. You know why He does that and draws us out? Hold that real quick. Hold that. I added this later. Hold that. Give me Proverbs. I'm going to jump a little bit. Give me Proverbs 27 and verse 7. Because this strict lifestyle, this strict way of operating, thinking, makes you appreciate the little things a lot more. The little freedoms, the little peace, the little comforts. Read that. Proverbs 27 and 7. Read it aloud, sir.
Proverbs chapter 27, verse 7. The full soul loatheth in honeycomb.
The full soul loathes honeycombs. I don't know if you ever had a full meal and your stomach's full, but you have some sweets left over. You don't really want the sweets anymore. Your mind is saying, "Hey, the senses in your head saying, I don't want any more food." You start to I'm full. Don't put anything else in me. Or how about you've already had a lot of sugar? You've had sugar all day, and you try to eat a cupcake, and it's disgusting. And you don't like it no more. Because your taste buds are developed. Your taste buds are like, man, we've had too much. I don't want this anymore. That's what he's saying. It says the full soul loathes the sweetness. It loathes the good things in life. I saw this interview the other day. Lil Yachty. I know this is vain, but I was watching it. Lil Yachty was talking about how he despised his life. And he was talking about how he made so much money when he was an 18-year-old kid, and he made $1 million. He blew up $1.3 million in a week. He got the check, and he was like,
You talking about when he first came out?
He first came out. And he had 1.3 in his bank account, and he went to go buy 3 cars, 2 houses, and buy the whole Gucci store. And he said he has like 1,000 shoes. He says, and I hate all of it. He said, I don't even like cars. I have 11 cars. I only drive one. He said, I have so many watches. He said, why do we have so many watches? Why do I have so many watches? I got the Patek right now. Why? I got the Rolex. Why? Why do I have it? I have 1,000 shoes that will go bags. I'm never going to wear them. But I just have them. I have all these dope shirts and all. I don't love any of it. I don't want any of it. I don't need any of it. But I'll tell you what. Give me a Patek.
Yeah. Hey, Richard Miller.
Give me one of them dope shoes. I'll take one of them shoes. I'll take one of them cars. I'll take one of them houses you don't want no more. That you just have rusting away? Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. I would take anything the Most High gives me. Everyone got me some break. Give me a rundown Toyota. I'll take that. I'll rock that. That'll be my thing. I'm cool. I don't need a Bugatti. What is it saying? The full soul loathes honey. He don't even want sweet no more. He already had it. He's full of it. Read on.
Full soul loatheth honey and honeycomb.
Yep.
But to the hungry soul, every bitter thing is sweet.
Why does the Most High make our life a little more bitter than everybody else's? Because the good we get is sweeter. We can appreciate it more. Why is our schedule so difficult and challenging? Because when we get those days off, whew, I'll tell you what, we maximize them days. It's rest going down. We are happy and we're appreciative. Or we get time when the business is a little slow, we get to congregate in the mornings and have classes. The spirits is up. Brothers is happy. They get to see and be around. We ain't seen each other in a week sometimes.
Yeah.
Because we had different business. So, you over here, we over here. We'll see you in class. That's it. We get time to really reconcile and get to re-know each other. What battles you've been going through and where you at in the spirit. What problems we need to solve. What fires we need to take out before they get too hot. Or, what victories have you had recently. It's like going to Passover Tabernacle with the new brothers. Like, we haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah,
It's that type of feeling, huh?
Remember, like during COVID, two examples, we weren't getting paid. We're working. We're with each other every day, and when I got $300 for 1 month, I was rejoicing over that. You say like $300 in a month, that's nothing, right? You make $3,000, $4,000 in a month. But that 300 was great. It was sweet.
It was sweet because you know what, we ain't had it before. There's times before when you didn't get no checks. I know we talked about that not too long ago, but 5-6 years ago, nah.
Brothers went months and years without getting paid.
That's a real story. And you know what? We survived.
Or
We survived.
we didn't have a lot of food, but we had a lot of onions. And now we was like, we're gonna roast these onions in the oven. They're the best
that was a good
tasting
thing.
onions.
That's actually
Word.
That's when the malls was like empty, bro.
I know.
The malls was prospering. You get like $300, and it's like one customer or two customers per hour, bro. If not less than that.
Those roasted onions.
And that was when it wasn't looking great in our situation. But even in our day-to-day lives, can we look at the fact that, you know what, our lives is difficult and it's challenging and we're not getting everything we want, but can we appreciate the good that we do get, the time that we do get, the small enjoyments? I remember I went to the I went to this it's called Maui Maui. It's this little ball pin place with my son one day. And bro, he's just running around, he's not even jumping on the trampolines out. He was going in the road and look and then run away. And he just runs the entire time. He's not sitting down, he's not relaxed for anything. But I'm looking at him and saying, man, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't have ball pit days. I'm gonna be real. I was not at the ball pit growing up. I was in the house. So I was so appreciative that he got that. He gets the Chuck E. Cheese days. He gets to sit here and go to the dope amusement parks. And he gets to go to SeaWorld. I didn't get to go to SeaWorld until I was 18. He's still going to SeaWorld. What are we talking about? The first time I went to SeaWorld, which is a staple in San Antonio, I didn't see it until I was 18 years old. I'm like, man, I would have loved to do this when I was in middle school or high school. Not that I was envious of my son, but I was appreciative of the time I actually get to spend with him. The quality time, seeing he's happy. And he's healthy. That matters. There's a lot of people in this world, they got kids, they don't spend no time with them. Because they're so focused on their career. They're so focused on their life. And their kids' youth just flies by them. And look up like, man, they're out the house already.
You wonder why their kids hate them.
That's real. Wonder why their kids despise them. But you was not paying attention to them the entire time. Because you were so focused on you and your journey, your success, and your game. And they're like, bro, I would. And the excuse is, well, I did it for you, for your stability. And this is not to bash parents. Parents do the best they can with what they got, with the resources they have. It's our job as children and being retaught to do better. That's what any parent wants their kid to do. I believe. Any parent wants their kid to do a better job than they do. Take the example they saw and make it better. Make the household better. But when it comes to the environment and what we saw and what was given to us, can we appreciate that? Can I say, you know what, for the kid that wish they had their dad or their mom around a little more, can you appreciate the fact that there was stability in your house? That you had a house? I don't like to compare, the other tribes all the time because it's hard for most people to conceptualize that what a third world country really is. But as I'm, going back to the language journey again, part of learning the language is learning the culture and learning how people that speak the language live. And it's not great. Like, the projects in the United States is middle class in the Dominican Republic. I'm not lying to you. Or in Cuba, it's middle class. They have 10 houses, like it's metal houses that have leaks and holes everywhere that will blow away if the weather's too bad. But we complain about the small things. I get it. It's hard to see. It's not in your face. But trust me, our people are living through worse conditions all through the world. All through the world.
And they have to live through corrupt governments.
A corrupt government, which means them gangs that we see growing up, there were some real gangs.
Yeah.
At least the gangs in our streets had to kind of be hidden. They couldn't just roll with AKs and tanks in the middle of the street like this is a normal Tuesday. No, bro. There's gangs that and these South American countries, they're like whole armies, bro.
Yeah, they got militias killing off people.
Yeah. And it's the economy is so bad. As a kid, as a boy, you have no choice but to join the gang. You have no choice. There's no other economic means to survive. That means either you're sitting here reporting whereabouts of other gang members at 2, 3 years old, 4 years old. This is what Chopper was hiring kids to do. You're going to neighborhoods and hire little kids to sit here and be on the lookout for police.
Drug mules.
And just make sure they're good. And when you got a little older, then you was really in the streets. He was really in the gang. Or you're a woman, and there's no other economic stability except prostitution. And I am so serious. You go to Ecuador, it's a legal practice. Because when they talk and they're interviewing, they say there's nothing else for me to do. There's no education. There's no jobs for us. Either I do this or my family dies. There's 7-year-old women prostituting because she got to take care of her grandkids. Because there's no other. She's been prostituting for 50 years. I'm not lying to you. Watch them with subtitles if you don't understand the Spanish. It's horrible. But we complain over small afflictions because we don't have the peachy lifestyle that we think we deserve to live. Who are we? Who are we? How about, can I appreciate the fact that, you know what? My life's a little bitter, but can I appreciate the little sweet I got in my life? The little bit of sweetness? So I tell you what, you know why the 9.5 is so distraught about Trump and these new orders? Because they know there's nothing waiting for them back home. They know they have no house, no job, no living circumstance. We can sit here and play cool. I was born in the States. I'm a citizen. It's a real challenge if you have to get sent back and you have no plan B. And there's no hope. There's no direction. Do we think outside of ourselves when we're in these low moments? Can we sit here and pull other testimonies and examples of those who aren't living the best life? And but you know what? At least the Most High is taking care of me on this instance. Can I at least appreciate that? This is how you stay in a modest state of mind. And don't get too ahead of yourself. Like, you deserve this life. You're no different than the person in Ecuador that was born. He's born by different people in a different place. Time and chance happens to them all. You could have been that person. You could have been in the Dominican Republic. You could have been in Cuba. You could have been in Haiti. You could have been in Honduras. You could have been in Guatemala. You could have been in any of these places. It's not too far. We're not too many generations away from that bad lifestyle. We pray for them too. We pray for stability for them too. But while we're here and we have some peace, some sweetness in our life, might not be the honeycomb, it might not be the yachty life, it might not be the stars, it might not be that. But you got something you can look forward to every day. What you got?
Man, that's crazy you said that. When you were saying that, it made me think of my uncle. He lives in Quito in Ecuador.
Bro, that's the one. That's the spot.
Oh my God. And
Bro.
I remember I used to FaceTime him a long time ago, man. I've missed him so much, bro. It's been years since I talked to him, bro. And he found out that I was my father's son. He was just so happy out here, man. We never even knew about you, bro.
Yeah.
Your dad never told us about you. We didn't even know about you, bro. And he would tell me all these stories, and he told me what he does for a living in Quito, they'll send him out in groups. They'll send him out to the forest and the wilderness.
Yeah.
And whatever clothes that you had, you would have to go out there and you would have to bring back a certain amount of fruits so that the rest of the city can eat.
Bro.
And he'll go out there and he'll chop down fruits all day long. But every time I talk to him, like he was always happy. He always had a smile on his face. And he told me the same thing that you said. If he didn't do that, then he wouldn't be able to survive. Because that's all that they had out there and everything.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go into all the gruesome details of, because Quito is one of those spots where I'm talking about that prostitution. It's legal over there. Like, you ain't getting more than $1 or $2 for losing your soul. I'm not even joking with you.
Wow.
I'm not joking. And you need, and I'm not going to go too deep into it. It was disheartening to see. It was disheartening to watch. And I remember I was watching the interview. The woman said, look, no, the husband was interviewed. And he said, yeah, it hurts that I have to have her do this. But if she doesn't do this, my 3 kids and my niece won't be able to eat. So the husband had to stomach this every single day. She left the interview to go handle business mid-interview because she had business to do. And he had to stomach that every single day because there was no other way for them to survive. So you wonder why they're hopping on trains and trying to get to the United States? That's why. But we got audacity, though. We got audacity. We're not getting the money we thought we should have. We ain't got no 401ks. We're not living in the mansion. We're not living in a $400,000 house. We don't got the Tesla. We don't got the Tesla. Those countries are making the batteries for Tesla. They don't get to drive Teslas. But we want the Tesla. We're mad we don't got we don't got the Tesla. That's just one car. But what's the point? We have a very prideful way of estimating our own self-worth. Like we couldn't have been them. This isn't about bashing them. Oh, the Most High just cursed them. He's cursed all of us.
Yeah.
But we're not going to act like some don't have it worse right now than others. We're not going to play that game. What's the point? Our job is to look at things in the most spiritually positive way possible. Whatever I'm going through my life, I have to look at it in the way the Most High wants me to look at it. I've got to look at it the way Christ wants me to look at it. I have to look at it in the way that Christ expects me to look at it. Because if not, now I'm playing the hypocrite game. Now I'm playing the game that says I don't appreciate what you have given me in my life. I don't appreciate what the stability you have given me. Because we can sit here and compare and contrast what we could have had and what we could have been. I always talk about it. It's called the white suburban depression. That was a study I did in college. We can play that game. Oh, I should have been here by now at this age, and I seen kids my age that they're multi-million-dollar, whatever. That's less than 1% of the world. If you make $50,000 as your goal, $35,000 as your baseline yearly salary, you're richer than 10% of the entire world. But we don't look at it that way.
Would that be considered like self-entitlement issues? Like,
yes!
Like I'm entitled to
Because we're American.
Because I feel like I deserve this.
I promise you the classes we be having will be different classes if we was in the Dominican Republic. I can assure you that. The Hope class we'll be having will be a lot more intense. It'd be a lot harder to find those answers. How do we sit here and rationalize that one onion is $11? That you can go to the... I'm not BSing you. There is a famine in Cuba. And you get to go to the market once, there's a fair, like once or twice a month. And that's where the food is the cheapest. Because everywhere else, it's blown up expensive. And the lady was going to the market, and she was like, yeah, the onion here is 300 pesos, which is like is $11 for one onion. Tomatoes is $2 per one tomato, and there's a little baby Roma tomatoes. That tomatoes is a staple in your everyday diet. Onions is a staple in your everyday diet. You make less than $1,000 a year, and you're going to spend $7 on an onion? No. You're not doing that. You're going to spend $3 on... it's not even. It's not a gram. It's a half a pound. No, it's a quarter pound of meat. It's a quarter pound of meat of ground beef. It's $3, which means a full pound, which will feed maybe 2-3 people, is going to roughly $10. So one meal could potentially cost you $30, and you're not making more than $100-some a month. That's not realistic. But we got problems over here. We got complaints. I don't like the test the Most High's putting me through. It's too difficult. I don't get to control my money. It's too difficult. I'm not making what I would have made in the world. It's too difficult. I got some afflictions here and there. It's too difficult. You're not living no real difficulties. Not saying you don't got problems. We all got problems, but we got Job problems. Look, I know we get to the story. David had to serve a madman throwing javelins at him for 10, 15 years and couldn't kill him. Couldn't cuss him out. Couldn't take the kingdom from him, even though he was told, you're going to be the king. Had his wife stolen from him. She got pregnant by other men. But now, two of them got taken from him. The first one was promised, Saul took her back. The second one was given to him, Saul took her back again, gave it to another guy. So she got a family with somebody else.
And Saul told him, I ain't gonna go into details, but Saul put David on a quest that resulted in getting the rib that he deserved.
It killed all the Philistines, taking their foreskins.
200.
First of all, that's a suicide mission for most men. Go take 1,000 foreskins from men. Are you serious, bro?
That means you gotta go to war with these guys.
That's what I'm saying. But he had to stay on point.
200 people, man.
He had to stay locked into the spirit. He had to pray. I'm gonna end it with the Psalm 73. Give me 73, because I'll go back to it the next time we go over his class. But this is how he had to rationalize this. This is how we have to rationalize this. Give me Psalm 73:1, and we're going to go all the way down.
Okay. Psalms chapter 73, verse 1. Truly, the Most High is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart.
Look at the perspective. He says the Most High is good to us. He said, but especially those that have a clean heart. He said, even if you're a dirtbag in the mind, he's still patient with you. How about that? He's still not stinging you like you should get stung. He said, forgot about you like you should have been forgot about. He's still giving you a chance. But if you got a clean heart and you're suffering, you're going through it, he's especially good to you. Can you believe that? I'm doing everything I can in the spirit. I'm trying my best. I'm taking counsel. I'm reading the scriptures. I'm learning as much as I can. I know I'm making mistakes, but you know what? I'm trying my best, and it's not perfect. Can I be okay with the fact that, you know what? It's better than nothing. I don't really need to get to the extreme, but that's how I look at it. I'd rather be sitting here and fall on my face and work the hours that I'm working than sit here and, no disrespect to those in those countries, but live in the barrios. The Baja barrios, the low barrios in Cuba, or Dominican Republic, or Haiti. Come on, but Haiti's not even like a country, bro.
Haiti
is really bad, bro.
Yeah. The water that they drink out of is the same water.
It's like Flint. It's a whole country of Flint. It's a whole country of Flint. But there's no government aid to Haiti though. So you got to sit here.
It's worse. It's worse than Flint.
And then their brothers, being Simeon, Dominicans, they hate Haitians. They hate them. So they be on that border fighting their life because they don't want them to cross over. So you got your brothers hating on you on one side. Y'all the same people. Right. Hating on one side. Just because you spoke a different, you got captured by a different guy. You speak French, I speak Spanish, so we're ops now. Dumb. But you can't escape to your left, and you can't cross the border because you got Trump losing his mind, taking all the Floridan Haitians back to Haiti again. Right. You are in a bad spot. But I'm complaining about my life? No, I'm not going to do that. No. Because it can get worse. And it could have been worse. And what did I do to deserve the life that I had? Nothing. I can't recall nothing I did in my previous life. I don't know what I did in my previous life. And I can't call nothing special I did in my current life to deserve the life I have now. Can't recall. I did okay things. I'm okay. But I'm not saying I'm good. I'm not saying I'm great. I'm not saying I did anything special. I didn't do anything special. It was grace. And if it was grace, it wasn't deserved. Keep reading.
Now in verse 2. But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped.
What David is saying is, yes, you know what? I acknowledge that covetousness almost got me. There's nothing wrong with being real with yourself. It's there for a reason. For you to see where you're at in the spirit. Am I strong? Am I taking advantage of the spirit and the guidance the Most High gave me? Or am I succumbing to my weaknesses? David says, I almost did. He almost got me. Read on.
Verse 3. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked.
Because this is the problem that we always have. Whether we're envious of the foolish and the wicked, because they're living a life and they have stability that we don't have, that we think we should have, or we could have, or, it'd be nice to have, or we're envious of those that are within our own camp, our own body. They get to do things that I can't do. They get to have rituals that I can't have. They get to have freedoms that I can't have. All that is still envy. All that is still covetousness. All that is still going to cause you to slip if you keep meditating on the thought process over a long period of time. You keep flirting with that Canaan, you're going to wonder why you get bit by Canaan. Just because you tell the Most High I can do it, don't mean you can do it. Can you be real with yourself, saying, I can't do it? I can't play with these thoughts and last. I can't play with this perspective and last. It's not going to work. Can I be real? David was real. And this is why David was different than Saul. Read on.
Verse 4. For there are no bands in their death.
Yep.
But their strength is firm.
Meaning they don't have to suffer the way I gotta suffer in my day-to-day life. They get to live their life and there's no strings attached. Job said the same thing. I'm watching the wicked, the kids are smiling, they're playing harps, they're laughing, their houses are secure, and they have no fear of God. And they're saying, what's the purpose of serving the Most High? I got everything I want everywhere. I already have everything I want. All the greats thought this. It's crossed their mind. It's hard for it not to cross your mind when you have a bitter life. But the difference between those that fall off the wayside and those that are spiritual is when I have those bitter thoughts, who am I cleaving onto? Where am I setting my roots down at? Your roots being your thought process. Your roots being your actions. Your roots being your reactions. What am I giving my spirit to? There's nothing wrong with acknowledging you have a weakness and you're envious. But now that I know it's in me, what am I doing to suppress it and get it out of my mind? Keep reading.
Verse 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men.
Isn't that a harsh reality we have to sit here and look at every single day? I make one mistake in the mind, I make one mistake in action, I'm getting blown up. Whether it be by men or by the Most High. I gotta be flawless every single day for the Most High to justify my life. He said, but David said, Saul didn't have to do that. Saul throwing javelins at me, and he didn't get struck dead. Saul sitting and committed disobedience, straight up not listening to the Most High. He got prophets sent to him directly, telling him X, Y, and Z what not to do. He didn't follow it, and he still got 10 to 15 more years on his kingdom. You don't think that kind of rubbed him the wrong way a little bit? David's doing everything right. Staying on point, staying humble, staying spiritual in mind, trying to slip. And he's seeing everything around him, everyone around him not do that. But he's being held to a higher standard. Why? Because he's confirming he's trying to show the Most High that you weren't wrong in choosing me. How about that? You weren't wrong in choosing me as your servant. Saul messed up. I'm not going to make the same mistake. Keep reading.
Verse 6. Therefore, pride compasseth them about as a chain.
Because when men don't get hit on their sins, and they don't get hit on when they're starting to slip, they get prideful. They think they can get away with it. They think they can go a little further in the negative. They can play. They can slip their big toe in it a little bit. I didn't get told anything about this action. Let me get a little further in it real quick. I didn't get hit yet. This is the mindset of men. This is not anything new. Keep reading.
Violence covered them as a garment.
Who do you think he's talking about? Saul is committing all types of negative left and right. And he's getting more and more prideful in his negative. I know we didn't go through the story. It'll make more sense next week if you haven't read it yet. But Saul was getting more prideful, more. What was that order he gave? He said, if anybody
you
eat
talking
some
about
honey.
fasting.
Yeah, we just finished going to war. And he said, you know what? Anybody eat anything at all, I'm killing you dead.
It was an extreme order.
It was foolish.
And that's when his son came.
Exactly.
Jonathan. Yeah.
Ate some honey.
Was it almost or he did?
No, he did. He
did ate honey.
because
Somebody warned him about
because he was like
Yeah,
it. He didn't know the
he led the battle. He probably killed most of them, and he didn't even know about the order. Why am I saying that? These men that were in charge and David had to watch were making crazy orders, crazy adjustments. Jonathan was his best friend. He was his best friend. He saved his life from his own father several times. And you find out from the grapevine that his own father got him killed because he made a dumb order, and that's the guy you're following, and you still can't take him out yet? Yeah, that'll be frustrating. That they said their souls, they were soul tied. That was his best friend. I'm going over this because David's going through all of this after he was confirmed as being chosen. After he was told, you're the one's going to serve me. You're my personal servant. What are we having to go through after we're told, you're my personal servant? And why do we think we don't have to go through anything? Why do we think we're immune from losing, from suffering, from affliction, from not getting what we want? What is steering that thought process? It's pride. It's no deeper than that. It's pride. Keep reading.
On verse 7. Their eyes stand out with fatness.
Yep.
They have more than heart could wish.
Oh. Keep reading.
They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily.
Oh, you know why? Because oppression isn't tested. They can't relate with oppression because they are the oppressors. I'm above oppression. I'm the oppressor. What was that line? What was that line from it was the movie from New Mexico. The show from New Mexico. It was the
Breaking Bad one.
Breaking Bad. Walter White. He was talking to his rib. He said, "Look," he said, "you're worried about my safety." He says, a man knock on the door and gets shot. He said, I'm not. He said, you don't have to worry about me being in danger. I am the danger. I'm the one calling the shot. I'm the one with the gun. I'm the one I don't want to get that. I'm joking. He said, I'm the one calling the shots. I'm the guy. I'm the oppressor. I'm the danger. Right? That was a famous like, I am the danger. Right? That was a dope line. But what was he trying to say? He said, bro, I don't ever know oppression. I'm the oppressor. If I go up, a business the size of the SP 500 was wiped off the face of the map.
That's like after he had came up.
Yeah, I think got over the cancer. He's the bald head guy. He's a boss now. It's like season like 3 or 4. I don't know. Right? He was a beast. I said, man, I don't worry about none of this. I'm the guy. This is after the dark skin brother blew up. He got blown up.
The chicken store.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the guy now. There's no middleman. I'm him.
The chicken.
He's like, you worry about the wrong person right now. That's how Saul's been every day. He said, I'm not worried about none of these peons. David, I don't worry about you. Yeah, he must have with you, but I still got the power. I'm still calling. You know what? I'm gonna take your rib from you. How about that? I'm gonna give it to this other guy, and you're still gonna be under me. And I'm still sending you the war to die every day. I'm gonna put you in these situations because I'm trying to take you out. Then I'm gonna invite you to a banquet to kill you, and then you don't show up and I'm mad that you didn't show up. Why didn't you want to celebrate this? It was a party for David. He just came back from war. You was trying to set him up. Your son had to warn him not to go to the banquet and leave.
Yeah.
But you had to serve this guy? Like you're chosen? And you're the next king.
And one of his ribs warned them that they was gonna kill him in his sleep.
That's the point.
David set the bed up.
He's sick. He's sick right now. He can't. Don't come in. He's sick. They're going to run again. There's so much.
That's when
there's so much to restore before he actually got anointed. We couldn't even get into all of it. The little meticulous details. But he had to stay locked in. He's watching all this happen, and he couldn't afford to have a negative perspective. He couldn't afford it because the Most High would took that spirit off him too. You're not the guy. That's a hard pill to swallow.
Next man.
But he didn't let it happen though. He didn't let it happen. He pushed past his feelings. We're going to show how did he push past his feelings. Read on.
God, verse 9. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth.
They're prideful. Setting their mouth against the heavens is pretty much saying no one can control me from my works. God can't stop the progress I got in my life. Meaning, I manifested my own destiny. This is like this because I said it's like this. This is the pride of man. Men really believe this. I've heard it out of men's mouth. I did this because of my own strength and my own ability. Okay. Well, you don't know how this is going to turn out. And sure enough, they never do. They never do. But keep reading.
Verse 10. Therefore, his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out to them.
All right, hold on. Real quick. I'm going to jump a little bit. I'm trying to find where it's at. Give me 13 now.
Verse 13.
Earlier. Yeah, keep reading.
Come, verse 13.
Oh, yeah, we're on the 13 through 17 now.
Come, verse 13. Verily I have cleansed my heart in vain.
Now, this is David. He's consoling himself. He did complain. Unlike Job, who kept his mouth, from
Sin.
Complaints. Complaining is sin.
Yeah.
He was complaining. He was. But the Most High winked at them. He said, verily have I cleansed my heart in vain. He's saying that I did all of this cleansing and keep my mind strong just for these guys to hear and win by being negative and wicked. This is the thought process a lot of us go through. We're at our lowest spiritual point. But he doesn't stay in this mindset. This is what makes him great. This is the mindset we have to start taking and following after and tracing. These are the landmarks that we're seeing. Yes, you know what? There's nothing wicked by stating the obvious. But are you going to dwell on the obvious? Are you going to dwell on the fact that the people around you might be having a little more advantage in life than you do? And can you accept the fact that they have an advantage in life because the Most High is not dealing with them? And how about that advantage will not last forever? And they have to answer for that liberty and that freedom that they were given? Keep reading.
God, verse 13. Verily I have cleansed my heart in vain, and washed my hands in innocency.
Yep.
For all the day long I have been plagued.
What mindset is David in right now? He's what?
He's frustrated.
He's frustrated and what?
And exhausted.
And depressed. There's depression in the Bible too.
God.
The greats in the Bible have been depressed before. But do they stay depressed? Do they allow that depression, that envy, and that covetousness to consume them? To where they start making mistakes? Let's find out. What did David do? Read.
For all the day long I have been plagued and chastened every morning. If I say, I will speak thus.
Now this is very important. Because this is David's inner monologue. He's saying, if I sit here and bring this complaint out, we all got complaints. We all have perspectives and opinions that we don't agree with. He says, but if I speak this out, read on.
Behold, I should offend against the generation of thy children.
He said, I'm going to offend the entire generation of the children of the chosen. All those that had to suffer the same thing that I'm suffering. All those that are looking up to my example of righteousness. All those that could fall and sin because of my statements. Because I have influence. Because my experience matters. If I speak my venom and express it on somebody else, I got blood in my hands now. That was his first self-check. He says, control your thoughts. You can't bring this out. You can't keep this mindset. This is not healthy. Read on.
Verse 16. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me.
The regret of expressing that and causing that trauma and causing that offense to the people around him was too painful for him to stomach. The fact that he had to deal with his life and eat the losses and couldn't express it and couldn't share anybody, yeah, it hurt. It does hurt, and it does feel lonely sometimes when you're walking this walk and you're suffering. It does hurt when you feel like, you know what, the counsels, they're great, but no one can hold my hand through this fire. It is painful. We all feel, we all go through it. David was going through it. But how did he rationalize it? How did he get out of it? Read on.
Verse 17. Until I went into the sanctuary of the Most High.
Until I did what?
Until I went into the sanctuary of the Most High.
Yeah, my soul was hurt. I'm stressed. I'm in pain. I'm losing. I'm not getting what I want. But when I went to the sanctuary of the Most High, I stabilized. I was able to see things clearly now. I was able to get out of my head, my own personal feelings. Get outside of myself. Be considerate of those around me. Be appreciative of what I do have. And also understand that the ones who are quote unquote winning in the flesh, while not being on point with the spirit, they have an end too. And they're not going to get away with murder forever. And I will accept that answer. Finish it up.
God, until I went into the sanctuary of the Most High, then understood I their end.
And this is the point. When we hit those low points, when we're sitting here fighting our battle and we're not getting the results that we want, there's two paths we can take. The class we'll have next week, we're going to finish this up and go into what path some people take. But the path the Most High wants to take is, when you're down and you're out, go back to the Maya. Go back to the generation of old. Go back to the sanctuary. Get charged up. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to see things clearly. The longer you're out there, the longer you meditate on what's around you, the more polluted and the more hard it is for you to fight these negative thoughts, these temptations that are here to plague you, that nobody can avoid. You can't avoid these temptations. You can't avoid what you're seeing every single day. But you can fill your mind with more good than bad if you choose to. This is why David prayed for what? Give me that one more time. Psalms 119 and verse 38, 36 to 38. We'll finish it up with that. Yeah, 119 and verse 36 through 38.
Turn. Psalm 119, verse 36.
Yep.
It says, incline my heart unto thy testimonies, and not to covetousness.
He said David prayed for him to incline his heart. When he's going back and seeking counsel, he's seeking for them testimonies. He's seeking for the answers in the book. And he's trying his best not to give his mind to that covetousness that he knows is in him. That sickness that he knows is there. Read on.
Turn away mine eyes from beholding vanity.
And when you're in your lowest point, how do you reset yourself? When I'm in that point, when I am covetous, and I am comparing and contrasting my life, what can I physically do to reset myself? Take away the vanity from my eyes as much as possible. Take away the TV from my eyes. Take away the social media from my eyes. Take away the thought process. Take away the conversations from my mouth. Remove it as far away from me as humanly possible to make my battle a little easier. Remove Canaan from you to make your battle a little easier. And with that being said, that is the end of the class. The water for coming out. Shabbat Shalom, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Shabbat Shalom.